What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff every Friday. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by Miss Christine Steimer.
Hello.
And Miss Brittany Brombacher.
Hello.
It looked like you were either going to sneeze or you were going to burp.
I was going to burp. I swear this whiskey, I was definitely going to burp, but I swallowed it, or whatever you do with burps. I don't know. And something's wrong with it.
The gas just dissipated.
It just dissipated.
Something's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
It tastes like someone spiked it with bleach.
What?
Why are you continuing to drink it?
Because if anything college has taught me, Simon, it's that alcohol neutralizes all of the bad things.
That's not
true.
Good or true.
You know when you play beer pong and the ball would be rolling around on the ground and you'd be like, the beer cleanses
so it disinfects, which is what bleach also does, but it also kills you. So please
don't ingest bleach, everybody.
Yeah, don't.
Contrary
do
to what some people on television might tell you, bleach inside your body, bad. Bleach outside your body, okay.
Yeah, leave it outside.
Don't say we never taught you anything on What's Good Games.
It's true. That's an actual fact.
We are not medical professionals, for the record. We are not medical professionals.
But I feel like that's pretty solid advice.
In confidence, don't drink bleach.
You would think it would be, but I just am covering our bases, okay?
Yeah, that's a good call.
Welcome to the show, everybody, whether this is your first episode or your 169th episode.
Oh, nice. Snap.
We are glad that you are here joining us for your favorite video game podcast. Brittany, we had a cool shout out this week. We were featured in a list of video game podcasts.
For one, Digital Trends. They had their top podcasts on there, video game podcasts on there. We were on there. Spawn on Me was on there. Kind of Funny was on there. Telling you.
Yeah, Beyond was on there. Giant Bomb was on there. It was a pretty good list. It was good company to keep. I was very happy about it. So thanks, Digital Trends. That was nice of you. We've got a big stream coming up on Tuesday, June 30th. We've been talking to you guys about this. We're teaming up with our friends at GameSpot for their summer charity stream from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time. You guys can watch us streaming over there. We will send out all of those links on our social channels. So What's Good _games on Twitter is the best place to follow to get those links. But don't forget to mark your calendars. We'd love to have you join us. It'll be fun. Pride Month is still going strong. As you can see, I'm wearing one of our Pride shirts that's available at whatsgoodgames.com/store. 100% of the profits of all of our Pride apparel items are going to our friends at GLAAD, who are doing good work to make sure that the voices of the LGBTQ plus community are represented accurately in the world of video games. And we have decided it's been a little rough since the pandemic began, and we need to take a break. So we are having our What's Good Games summer break starting next Tuesday, July 2nd. We are going to be offline, but don't worry. There'll still be a show every Friday because we've got content for you. You know us. We can't break our streak now. We've never missed a Friday.
We've never missed a show. We're not going to miss a show.
No.
We're just going to do a little production magic behind the scenes for
you.
But we will be taking Monday, July 6th off from What's Good Games Live. But don't worry, the podcast on Friday will go up as scheduled. And we are excited to bring you guys our TLU spoiler cast next week. And then the week after will be our Game of the Year so far discussion. Yes, lots to talk about. And shout out to Rihanna Manuel for appearing on Inside Gaming this week to talk about TLU 2 on their spoiler cast. So she had a good discussion, I imagine. I haven't been able to catch it yet. It just went up today, I think.
Ooh.
So if you guys want to check it out, Inside Gaming, I think retweeted the link as well. And we will be back after the What's Good Games summer break on Sunday, July 2nd, for our live reactions to Ubisoft Forward.
July 12th.
Did I say July 2nd?
Second.
That was a mistake. Whoops. I mean July 12th. And we have a secret piece of content going up in the middle that's under embargo that I can't talk to you about, but when it launches, you'll know what it is.
Surprise!
Ladies, do you know what you're going to do during your little summer break? Do you have any ideas?
It's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still going to work. So the cool thing is I got sent the Destiny cookbook, which is coming out in August, and I'm very excited about it. And there's lots of drink recipes, so I thought it'd be fun to maybe do a video with these drink recipes, but I also told myself that the whole idea of vacation is to not work. So I'm hoping to catch up on some books because I have been sorely neglecting my reading. And y'all know I love me some fantasy books up in here. And I still haven't finished his Dark Materials. So
yeah. Get to
I'm
work.
going to just maybe lay out in the sun and read a book for a little bit.
Sounds nice.
As you should.
Maybe I'll go out to the beach and go for a walk and make sure I'm like at least 20 feet from anybody and wearing a mask, of course.
Stay away.
But like it would be nice to like feel the ocean breeze on my face.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I miss the water. I live not that far from it and I haven't seen it in months.
I know, I'm looking outside. It's a relatively warm day here. It's about 80, 82 right now.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, what does sun feel like? I don't know.
I mean, you can go outside, Brittany.
I could, but the computer's here, and the computer's
That's
where all
true.
the magic
I don't mean like right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could.
Like you just
guys
got
could
up
do
and
the show
walked
on
off
your
the
own.
show. You're like,
Don't
bye.
leave, Brittany, no. What are you going to do, Britt?
Work probably as well. I think, just because we're not on the show doesn't mean we're not doing shit behind the scenes, but probably just email management. I think it's going to be a little nice staycation. I should have a review copy by then of a certain game that I'm excited to play. So, just kind of veg, just do what I love. Play video games in my pajamas. It's going to be fantastic.
No makeup. It's the best.
No makeup, no hair. You're kind of stinky.
No hair.
Who
Where'd your
cares?
hair go?
Wait, no hair. No hair doing. No hair up making. Yeah, no hair.
Goodbye.
She's going to buzz. It's her buzz cut for the summer. It's just summer look.
Sometimes you just need to feel that breeze on your scalp.
Amazing. All right, you guys, let's keep on a rolling. Thank you to this month's Patreon producers, Chewy's Godson, Alex Rogopoulos, Ferris Atay, Mohammed, Marcus Brown, Puctified, and Male Bittner. And welcome to our Patreon community, Aaron Easton, Chelsea May, 456, who cares? Jeremy Davidson, Amanda Urita? I'm sorry, Amanda, I definitely butchered your name. Oh, Wedgie Woman, amazing. And Yazid Al-Rahi?
Is Wedgie Woman like Captain Underpants' wife?
Good
Possibly.
question.
I feel like that's the title I would take. I was married to Captain Underpants.
I'm Wedgie Woman.
I'm Wedgie Woman.
Brittany, we've got some new podcast reviews.
We do. We have S. Tyler Hoffman, Jordan, a.k.a. J-Man, Lionheart, and Dame0101, who says, wow, it's the Powerpuffs. Did you guys know that you match the temperaments and hair colors of the freaking Powerpuff Girls?
We
I've
did know
listened
that.
to you guys for a long time and watched a bunch of podcasts and just realized that you should get some kind of marketing deal or something. Yeah, every
Marketing
time
deal
I've
would be
decided
sweet.
someone calls us out for being Powerpuff Girls, I'm going to give them the Muppet voice.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
that's okay. And then we have If Memory Serves, and then we have Blue Steel Simba. Pro tip: for the full wine whiskey effect, play the podcast on half speed. What's good whiskey?
If you've never listened to a
it's so
podcast on
bad.
half speed, it's hilarious.
Dude, one of the things in Telu that you can do is you can slow down time when you go into
One of the things you can do in Telu.
That's exactly. So if someone's talking, and you go into like aim down the sights, it will slow them down, and it sounds so stupid. It just like kind of makes you laugh instead of being serious in the moment. But so that's a pro tip. If you need a little levity in Telu, just put on slow.
Makes sense.
And listen to the voices go really slowly.
You sound like an Elcor.
Yes.
Excited.
Affirmative response.
I love it. All right, that is it for our announcements. Let's get into the news. But before we do that, oh, don't worry. I'm not psyching you out with an ad read. There are no sponsors on this week's show. Instead, we want to take a moment to talk about everything that's happening in the industry. So we had a chat amongst the three of us, and we're like, so what are we going to do about all of the things that are happening on social media and in the news in the video games industry? And we collectively agreed that we did not want to deep dive into any of these stories, that there are many outlets out there that have done much better reporting on the issues of the allegations of systemic harassment, misconduct, sexual assault, and other really terrible things happening to people in the video games industry. And we decided, if you guys want to look up those details, that you can go seek those out on other sites that have done a much better job of reporting on them than we could ever possibly do here at What's Good Games. And just be warned, not that I probably need to warn you, that there's some really traumatic stuff that's been posted this week. And we applaud all the people who have come forward and with their stories, and we empathize because, as I mentioned in my statement, there isn't a woman on planet Earth that hasn't come into contact with some grossness in her life. And hopefully we can eliminate that number, or at least make it smaller as soon as we can. And then hopefully one day, women can, rise up and not to be oppressed. And I just wanted to get that out of the way. So if you guys were like, are they going to address those stories? No, we're not planning to talk about that. But I do have a little bit more that I would like to say. And I wrote it up so that I wouldn't mince words here. Because you may have seen that I was tagged in one of these stories this week. I was cited in a long post from someone about not being a strong enough ally in a moment that was 5 years ago. And as I mentioned in the statement that I posted on Twitter and Facebook, which I know a lot of you have seen, no one is a perfect ally, including me. And I know that I have been a better ally in recent years and that I have certainly grown a lot since that moment 5 years ago. But the multitude of stories that have come across our screens this week have affected all aspects of the video games industry, and they have caused all of us to stop and reflect. I want to remind you guys that no one is owed every detail of the woman's story that I'm named in, of my personal stories, or of anyone's stories for that matter. We're people. We're actual real human beings trying to deal with messy and often traumatic situations in real time, with a lot of people weighing in that probably have no business weighing in. And here at What's Good Games, I don't think we need to remind you, but I'm happy to do so now, that we always strive to be thoughtful while constantly being open to personal growth. And I'll echo what I said in our Facebook fan page, that What's Good Games has never blacklisted anyone from working with us. We love working with people. We are excited to work with whoever we can. And we pride ourselves, of course, on being a community for everyone. Well, except for the dicks, of course.
Yeah, but you can have a dick, to be clear.
Yes. Oh, yes. You can definitely have a dick. If you have a dick, you are welcome here. You just can't be a dick.
Correct.
We know that it's a very stressful time in the world right now. Tensions are very high, but we want to remind you and ask you to please respect the voices that are coming forward this week. It's really hard to talk about these things. And as our girl Rihanna reminds us, we think it's important to hammer home, it's better sometimes to just listen.
Be a good human.
Yeah, be a good human. That's great advice, Britt. Thanks. All right, now let's talk about some video games. So
what we got?
We got lots of stuff. So we've decided we're going to put all of the Cyberpunk stuff in the second segment of the show. I know you. Hopefully you guys saw Brittany's video where she took some of our patron questions. We're going to do an even deeper dive when we hear about her hands-on time. She got a whopping 4 hours of time.
Woof.
With Cyberpunk
I got 12 pages of notes.
I'm ready. Girl, I'm ready.
Oh, get
ready
comfortable,
for
ladies.
Nerd Brittany. I want you to get some glasses so you can push them up.
So if you're anxious to go right to Cyberpunk, check the timestamps. You can jump right there. But first, there was another big game that we were looking forward to hearing about this week. Marvel's Avengers from Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. So they did their War Table this week, which was a live stream where they ran through a bunch of features and they showed some new gameplay, showed a couple new cutscenes, and they talked about a lot of details in the game. So Polygon had a nice little write-up, and their write-up says, Crystal Dynamics offered a new look at Marvel's Avengers, the upcoming single-player and cooperative action-adventure game, on Wednesday during its War Table livestream. Here's what we learned. MODOK is the big bad. We've seen a few Marvel villains like Abomination and Taskmaster in gameplay snippets, but players will also battle hundreds of mechanized soldiers and robots built by AIM, the Advanced Idea Mechanics, which deploys its creations under the guise of security after the Avengers disband. At the head of AIM is George Tarleton, better known as MODOK, aka the mechanized organism designed only for killing. Some more story insights from Polygon on Thor's hero mission include what appears to be an early mission from Marvel's Avengers. Thor returns dressed as his alter ego, Donald Blake, to help the Avengers take on an AIM threat and prevent the crash of the helicarrier known as the Chimera. Hero missions, in Crystal Dynamics' name for story-based single-player missions, will move the story-based campaign forward. Sorry, let me just clarify. hero missions are the single player campaign missions that will then move that affiliated story-based campaign forward. There we go.
There you go. Nailed it.
Thank you. If you guys want to look at the co-op war zones, which of course are the multiplayer, war zones are repeatable cooperative missions, aka grind time, that take place in wide open spaces, quotations, and dense interiors, where players will take their customizable Avenger out for a spin. Each hero in the Avengers has dozens of unlockable cosmetic outfits, some of which can be earned by completing missions and objectives, and some of which will only be available through the in-game marketplace, which we knew. As players embark on co-op missions, they'll work with a variety of factions, including Inhuman Resistance Group and former S.H.I.E.L.D. members, such as Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan. Duggan? I don't know this guy. Who is this guy? Dum Dum Duggan?
Don't fucking ask me.
Anyone who's played Destiny will find much of Marvel's Avengers factions interactions very familiar looking. Players will also rebuild their own helicarrier and team up with other players for special 2-on-1 finishing moves. Oh, that's kind of fun. They announced that the game is going to be released on September 4th for Google Stadia, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. When those consoles debut, you will get a next-gen upgrade for free. So if you decide you want to play it right away in September and you have the PS4 or the Xbox One, you can play it again or continue playing when Series X and PS5 are released for free. And then they showed a bunch of screens, like menu screens about upgrading, and they showed some cosmetics, and it was all around a pretty good deep dive.
Was there anything in there that you were like, oh my god, that's so cool? Just like that.
In a British accent.
Oh my god.
Was that British?
That's so cool.
It was an attempt at a British accent.
I was going to say, don't give me too much credit, Simon. It's fine.
No, and I think that's because they did a really good job, in my opinion, of focusing on where they took inspiration from the comics and the incredible, what they always refer to as the 80-year history of the Avengers in Marvel Comics. And I thought that it was really well done, and it played specifically to people who love the comic books. But I'm not that person. I just have never read the full history of the Avengers. I've read very few comics and graphic novels overall. And so for me, I didn't have anything that blew my skirt up when I saw it, but I imagine that there are some hardcore comic fans that saw like a costume or a reference that they were like, oh my God, but that wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was pulling this story, I looked through about 5 different articles. I was like, because I don't know what any of this shit means. I don't know what Dum Dum Dugan is, or I didn't know.
That's the only one I don't know. I'm like, I don't know who that guy is, but like, I know the other names.
Someone is listening to our podcast screaming like, oh my God, this is who it is.
That's me. But the more I read about this game, the more I'm attracted to it because of the mechanics. Although like the co-op missions sound fun, kind of like grindy, but hey, like, I could go for some mindless grinding right now, aka a one night stand. I'm not looking for a one night stand. Let me clarify.
I was about to say.
Let me clarify. But I liked how in the bottom of the article they had Hulk in that fancy like mafia style suit.
Yeah, the nice pinstripe suit. Yeah. So Dum Dum Duggan, we have Googled. He is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
An officer of S.H.I.E.L.D. and one of the most experienced members of Nick Fury's team, known for his marksmanship with rifles and impressive physique.
He might want to consider changing his name because I don't know if you could take someone seriously that is called Dum Dum Duggan. Like, that's not the... Just, yeah. Pick another name. You could do it legally, son. Did you know that?
Listen, here's the thing. Overall, I think this game looks cool. I think that what they showed now is the best way to convince people who are Marvel fans and who want to know more about where the Avengers storyline is going. I think they did a good job of that. I think what they're still struggling with is people still don't kind of understand the scope of the game. And I think it's clear that people want an open world Avengers game, and that's not what this game is. And they're not going to get that. And they're either going to be okay with that or they're not. Because I was watching some of the comments roll by during the live stream when the War Table was going, and it felt like it was like 50-50 people being excited and people being like, ooh, shit, like everybody does in comments.
Yeah. I do think I agree. Like, I've seen some criticism of it looking a little generic, and I'm like, I kind of see that in the sense of when you get to the gameplay, it kind of looks like very similar to a lot of other action games, and like, it doesn't necessarily have an incredibly unique spin other than the fact that it is Marvel heroes attached to it, and their powers are super fun. Like, I think that's kind of where the line is. But when we played it, I do think it plays well. I think kind of visually it looks, it just looks a little, it does come off and pass a little bit more generic or a little bit like kind of whatever. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy I mean, granted, it was a short demo, so who's to say how long that will stay fun over the course of time. But I enjoyed the demo that we played. It was kind of fun to just, we got to try all of them. It was fun to Hulk smash. It was fun to be Thor. So this is just one of those games where I feel like it'll be good, dumb fun, like good, dumb, clean fun, like popcorn flick if you're looking for a movie comparative. And I'm not sure that I'm expecting any more out of it than that. And I think that's where my personal expectations lie. And if you're expecting it to be maybe like
the Spider-Man.
Yeah, like something to really turn the genre on its head, I don't think it's going to. I could be wrong, but that's just
keep your expectations in check, baby girl.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, September 4th, that's so far away. But because time has no meaning. Because time has no meaning, yes, I realize we're almost in July. So
yeah. June has flown by, but that's also probably because I moved. So
I know the whole year. The whole year has seemed like it's lasted 20 years, but also
it's just 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's a very strange time loop continuum thing.
I saw someone in my Twitter feed tweet that March and April moved at 3 miles per hour because they felt like they were going so slow, and then June has been moving at 300 miles per hour.
March is the only one I thought that felt really slow. And I think that's because it went so drastically because we came back from PAX in March.
Yeah.
Right.
So like we came back from PAX and then everything hit. So that month just felt forever because it was such a change. And then from then on, it's been like, oh, this month will feel long. And then it hasn't. And so like every month has just disappeared. Don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm excited to read this next story because we have one Animal Crossing expert, and to continue down the line of 2020 is the weirdest year. I never thought I would say that expert is Andrea Renee, but here we are.
So true.
Well,
What's up, girl? So Animal Crossing New Horizons update is adding swimming, Pascal, and more. This comes from Polygon.
So you can fall in the river?
No, you can go in the ocean, Steimer. I'll show you.
Swimming and diving are coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons as part of a free update due to be released on July 3rd. Players will be able to donate sea creatures, eels, starfish, scallops, anemones. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
and more. To Blather's Museum, and they'll score new mermaid-themed DIY recipes from Pascal. Nintendo said.
I got excited because I just watched her do
I pulled the trailer up so she could see, and then she watched the girl dive into the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
The Pelican Gulliver will also get a change of clothes as part of July's update. He's getting a pirate-themed look. Is that the dude who's always washed up along the beach?
Yeah, and he's like, go find my 5 communicator pieces, and then if you keep them, they're rusty parts to build your robot, but in order to get the golden shovel, you have to help him 30 times.
What's his problem? Is he just getting so drunk on the ship he keeps falling over?
Apparently.
Nobody knows.
What the hell? Get your shit together, Gulliver. Anyway, he's getting pirate looks that will give players an unidentified special reward for helping him out. Nintendo says another free update for Animal Crossing New Horizons is coming in early August, but didn't specify what content it will bring to the charming life sim. A trailer released Thursday seems to indicate the update will add fireworks to the game. So I know with the 3DS games you could swim, but you always had to watch out for jellyfish.
So pretty. I'm looking at some of the new things, and they're very pretty.
The mermaid DIYs, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited because I have an underwater theme in my house already. So if you guys saw my Animal Crossing tour on IGN, my island has definitely changed since then. That was 3 weeks ago now, which is wild to think of.
Wow.
I recorded that long ago, but I had reached out to Felicia Day, and we're going to try to get her on the show. We're going to go to her island and do a tour, and then she's going to come visit my island. So we don't know when we're going to do that yet. It's just...
I love this thumbnail of her mid-flip.
Yes, where her feet are just up in the air.
Legs are sprawled.
It's like she's doing the happy baby pose, but in the air.
Yeah, just rotated.
Dangerous. Feels like you're going to hit your back on the water.
Yeah.
Did they show any of the mermaid gear?
Yes, they did.
It's in the trailer.
So if
it's
you
very pretty.
I retweeted it if you would just go to my account, or you can just go to @Animal Crossing and you'll find it there.
Tom Nook says, "Here's an announcement."
Ooh.
It's very cute, I've got to say. I haven't fired up Animal Crossing in quite some time, but that's adorable.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I've decided that my next big project on my island is building a sports bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because
Where are you doing
Does it
that?
have wings in it?
I've never seen wings, but I've seen some custom codes for wings that you can place on things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they have hat design. You can design a top hat in the game, but like you can manipulate it to make it look like the brim of the hat is a plate, and then whatever's on the top of the hat is like food.
Oh,
So when you place it in world, it looks like a plate of something. So I have one of my stalls in the What's Good Games Carnival that I have on my island. I've got a hamburger stand and a pizza stand with like hats, air quotes. I showed it to Brian Altano and he was like, I feel inadequate that you have pizza on your island and I don't have pizza on my island
Now
yet.
I want pizza. Let's stop talking about it.
I just want to go have a barbecue out in public with friends.
Yeah. I do
Talking
too.
about all those summer activities, a sports
I want
bar.
a hot dog.
I just want food. I'm food and friends.
Brittany's
Mostly
like, I'm
food.
just hungry. So I was like, me too.
Where are you going to
always
put your sports
hungry.
bar? Do you have a spot for it?
Yeah, so there was a part of my island that I thought I was originally going to reserve for a wrestling ring. And then I went to my friend John Carl's island and the fabulous setup that he put there with his like NWO wrestling ring. I was like, I can never compete with this. So I'm definitely just
So I'm going to
noping
pivot
out.
my goalpost to something else.
Yes. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just scratch that? I don't need a basketball court. I don't need some wrestling ring. I'm going to demolish this whole area. And I made part of it an outdoor movie theater, which is really fun.
Oh.
And then I'm making the other half of it my bar, my sports bar. So far I've got like my bar build. I've got a dartboard. I've got some really cool chairs that look like baseball mitts. Like I got
Nothing you
trophy
love more than
case.
sitting in a mitt.
Yeah.
Into it.
I'm working on it.
I would love to live on your island. I could go to I wish I could go to a sports bar.
I've got
right
a
now.
spa. I've got an outdoor spa. I've got a wine and pizza bar.
Again,
Are you gonna have like
stop
a-
talking about pizza?
You said you already said you got a dartboard, so you already got that covered. Okay.
I got a
Should
pool. I got a pool table. I got a
you have
dartboard.
pull tabs. Those
I've
are
got
the
a
best.
bingo. I've got a bingo thing.
Okay.
A bingo thing?
You know that little the
Oh,
container that holds
sure,
the
sure.
balls that
The
you
little
like spin with a little
rotating
handle.
thing. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It has a name. I just don't know what it is.
yeah. I can't remember what it's called.
It's like a
ball
lottery
holder.
thing too.
Yeah,
You can use it.
exactly. I've got that. I don't.
It's your RNG machine. Let's just call it that.
I like it. That's a good one. Manual RNG machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm working on it. I've got some stuff happening, and I caught a great white shark and a hammerhead shark in the same 24-hour period, and I felt very proud of myself.
Is
Can't
that
say
a
I would
really
want
big
to-
deal?
I mean, wouldn't you be like shocked
I mean,
and amazed
I
if you
caught
caught a great white shark on
Listen,
a fishing
Steimer,
pole?
you're talking to someone who caught a great white shark in Yakuza 3. Okay, so like,
But what
old
about
news.
a hammerhead? Because hammerheads are
Wow.
actually meaner usually than great whites.
I like
They're more
hammerheads
aggressive.
though because they have the really derpy faces.
It's true.
They do, but they're mean sons of bitches.
But when you caught it in Yakuza, did you hold it up for a photo?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I did. Kiryu's a fucking badass.
Do you
I don't
have
remember.
a screenshot to prove it? Because I do.
Okay, I'll look it up.
She's
Damn.
like, yes,
Damn.
I will get my receipts. Come on.
Kiryu versus Andrea's Animal Crossing villager. Let's go. Ugh.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, so I'm excited for this. So you guys will definitely see it on a stream sometime in the not too distant future. Okay, next story, and Brittany has requested that I read this because there are Pokemon names in it.
Yeah.
So Brittany was up at the crack of dawn earlier this
Dude.
week. I don't know why you did it, but I respect that you did.
Last time I did, I got Pokemon
She got
Snap.
Pokemon Snap.
That's true.
So
Fair.
Nintendo had rewarded my efforts. It's like a dog. You know, I did a thing that I didn't really want to do. Nintendo's like, okay, here's a big juicy
Here's a
bone.
cookie.
Good job. So the next time they had something, I'm like, I want a big fucking juicy bone. And they're like, oh no, here's a rat carcass. Okay, no, that's
Wow.
that was
Okay.
I mean,
so Brittany has some thoughts
So
to
you
share
don't
with
like
us.
this.
no, you know,
Sure.
it sounded good for the joke, but now it just sounds like an asshole. Apologies.
It's fine. We'll get to Brittany's thoughts in just a second. If you're confused about what I'm talking about, Pokemon Unite is a MOBA-style game with crossplay for Switch and mobile. This write-up comes from our friends over at GameSpot. The Pokemon Company announced a brand new game called Pokemon Unite. The team-based cooperative MOBA, that stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena game, is being developed in cooperation with Tencent and developer Teamy Studios, which was responsible for the Call of Duty mobile game and Arena of Valor. Both highly successful mobile games, may I add. Not MOBAs, but mobile games. That's what I meant to say. Unite will be free to play. I thought they said free to start on that trailer on Nintendo Switch and iOS and Android devices, and will support cross-platform play, which is a huge thing for Nintendo, which we'll talk about in a second. These matches are 5v5 and will take place on a mobile-like map split into halves that represent your teams. Each side is littered with several control points that can be used to score goals. Battles will take place in real time, and as you progress through the battles, your Pokemon will level up and learn new moves. And each Pokemon has a unique Unite move, but unlike standard Pokemon, there aren't type advantages. The side that scores the most points by the end of the match wins, and they've spotted a bunch of Pokemon in the trailer. So for player-controlled Pokemon, we've got the adorable cuddly Snorlax, Lucario, Charmander, Squirtle, Pikachu, Clefairy.
Oh no, you have to read. You have to read the evolutions.
Okay, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, Squirtle, Wardle, Blastoise, Pikachu, Clefairy, Clefable, Fletchling, Fletchinder, Talonflame. How does Fletchling go to Talonflame?
These are the many mysteries of the world.
Like, what? Seems like someone like didn't understand the naming conventions of Pokemon. And then we got Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. Wait, no? Venusaur? Wait, what? Wait,
It's
Brittany.
fine.
Brittany's dying. Brittany's dying.
you know,
Venusaur, but it's fine. No, keep going. I
Yeah,
love.
it's like Venus.
Please, I'm so happy.
Venus.
This is the most joy I've had in a
No,
long
listen,
time.
here's the thing. This is what's hard about Pokemon. Because it's Bulbasaur, right?
It's Bulbasaur.
Sor.
Like a
And
dinosaur.
so what,
Bulbasaur.
I'm just supposed to know it's Venusaur at the end?
I mean,
Brittany, don't judge me.
Brittany
You've already done
Brittany
it.
is
It's too
laughing
late.
her ass off.
Brittany, breathe. It's okay. Okay, so tell me, how am I supposed to say it? How do you say it?
Venusaur.
Venusaur.
I say
Wait, you guys
Venusaur.
both said it
We
differently
did.
for the
I
record.
say Venusaur, but
Venusaur. Like it
like
depends.
a dinosaur makes more sense. But I
Yeah.
like saying
Like a
it.
dinosaur.
It's like Tarjay. Sometimes you just gotta fancy it up.
Is it dinosaur or dinosaur?
Who fucking cares?
Apparently Brittany does. Ghastly Haunter or Hunter?
Haunter.
Haunter. And Gengar? Gengar. Machamp. Didn't we do that with Alexa, the Machamp thing?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought there was
I
like
don't
a
know,
bit she
maybe.
had with Machamp.
It might be.
Or maybe I'm thinking of a different game. And then Machoke? What?
Yeah, he chokes you.
Jesus.
big
And then
rusty boy.
I'm thinking of Machamp maybe.
Machop. Machoke. Machamp.
Wait, Machop, Machoke, Machamp. Okay. And then there's some possible wild Pokemon, Stuffle and Beware. Beware?
Beware.
Who knows? It looked like porn for a second. It's
Aporn. Like Aka.
The M looks like an R and an N for a half minute. Fonts are hard, everybody. Joltik and Galvantula. Wait.
I don't know this one. This is
Galvantula.
not- this is a
Brittany,
newer
Brittany's
Pokemon.
dying. Rotom. Because I wanted to say Rotom, but it sounds like something else. Altaria. And then Toxicroak. Toxicroak? What the fuck is that?
It's
like a
a
frog.
poison frog.
Seriously, we're going to make it a game on one of our after-hour streams where Brittany names a Pokemon and Steimer and I have to draw it. No, that's not fair. Steimer knows a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Brittany names a Pokemon and Rihanna and I have to draw it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I sit back
Ugh.
and drink, which is what I like
And then
to do.
and then Steimer and Brittany judge who made
Yes.
the best.
That brought me so much happiness. Thank you.
I'm glad. I'm here for you, friend.
Thank you.
So yeah, so what do you think about this Brittany?
I know I called it a rat corpse earlier.
You did.
And
So it leads me to believe you're not that excited about it.
I mean, listen, anything compared to a Pokemon Snap announcement was going to be a corpse of some variety. Maybe it was a rat. Maybe it was a mouse.
Cubone's mom?
What mom? Whose
Cubone?
mom?
Cubone's mom?
Oh, yeah. That's fucked up. It's like, why does Cubone wear his fucking mother's skull on his head?
To
and
feel
then when he
close to
evolves,
her.
his mother's skull literally fuses to him.
Well,
But then
yeah,
that
when
doesn't
you
make any
get
sense,
bigger,
Steimer.
it would just it becomes part of you.
So then what happens when he dies? Does something else pick up that skull?
I don't think he has any kids, so I think the weird, creepy skull wearing dies with him.
I was gonna say, oh, congratulations,
This,
little Cubone. You've
was a very-
inherited your mother Marowak's 13th skull or something. I don't know.
It's a short-lived tradition with this particular
Oh, God.
generation of Pokemon. Thank God, 'cause
Anyway,
it's weird.
yeah, Pokemon, dude, Pokemon's fucked up. It really, truly is if you really dive into it. Anyway, obviously this isn't my thing. Even though I called it a corpse, I don't really mean it's that bad. But I asked people on the Twitter sphere, and everyone knows all the opinions of the people on the Twitter sphere are 100% valid. And it was kind of like a mixed bag. It was like people are like, oh, this is cool, because people are describing it as baby's first MOBA. So I guess if you're not used to MOBAs, if you're not familiar with MOBAs, it could be a good jumping point. Obviously not my thing, but Steimer, you're kind of like our resident MOBA guru.
Well, and Andrea played a lot.
That's
of
true.
Paragon.
Andrea's right there with you. Sorry, Andrea, didn't mean to diminish your accomplishments.
Yeah, geez, I only put like 1,000 hours into a MOBA. How dare
God,
you?
rip.
She did a lot more.
I think Baby's first MOBA is like an LOL kind of moment for this game.
Yeah.
And
Not a League of Legends moment, like a lull.
correct. It's not like a lull moment. Thank you for the clarification. But like a laughing out loud, it's funny that's what people are saying. However, like I love MOBAs for what they are and the deep level of strategy, and I think people who play games like that kind of challenge, and I think that's why MOBAs are so popular with millions of people around the world and why they're the biggest esport, right? And I'm glad that Nintendo's like, multiplayer is something we should dip our toe in. But maybe, Nintendo, you don't go all the way into MOBA when you haven't really nailed multiplayer yet. And I think like Nintendo's biggest foray into multiplayer that's been successful has been Splatoon. And Splatoon 2 specifically. I mean, I know that there's going to be people out there that are like, yeah, what about Smash Bros? And I'm like, no. To me,
no.
They can't even do it at EVO.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you. That says everything.
Yeah.
But I think Splatoon 2 is a very great example of Nintendo being like, hey, we're doing multiplayer and we're doing it successfully and people love it and a lot of people enjoy playing it. I think trying to go into MOBA is a very big risk. I think that they maybe should have looked at some other genres beforehand, but not to say that they can't try. I'm down for them to do something cool.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this goes because I think it's smart. Can you imagine how much of a hellscape this would be if they had type advantages involved?
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
You'd just be like, oh, my God. But I think it's interesting to be like, well, you learn the new moves as you are progressing. And it kind of is exactly what League is actually, now I'm thinking about when I say that. It's actually not that exciting.
You mean it's hard?
I'm like, oh, yeah, you do just gain level up and then you can put points into it. Never mind. It's the fucking same. But I guess I'm just curious to see how it plays because, a big aspect of League or even Paragon was like the jungle and going through and getting buffs that way. So we haven't really seen a lot of details, I think, on how this specifically plays. But it's I still want to play it just for shits and gigs when it comes out to just be like, what is this?
Yeah.
How does this play?
What is this game?
Where does it go?
I think you guys should definitely try it.
Yeah.
Oh God, that would be a hot mess if I played it. But just to clarify,
all you have to do is be like, I'm Snorlax. I'm probably a tank. Let's sit in the middle of this lane and block. Do they have minions? I actually don't even know if they have minions in there.
Let me look it up.
What's a minion?
Oh no, Brittany!
It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. They're little
Is it like AI?
Little AI NPCs.
Okay, then yeah, I thought so. So there are wild Pokemon in this, and I don't know if this article actually talks about it. It looks like it doesn't, but there are wild Pokemon, and if you defeat them, you get to catch them. And I'm assuming they play the role as that.
No, that's a different thing. You wouldn't want to catch the minions. The minions are just there to push to put pressure on like the towers, the enemy towers. They also are useful to hide behind. So if an enemy person has a skill shot and you stand behind a minion, it'll hit the minion and not you. So it's like you use them as strategy for different things.
Oh,
This does not have gameplay.
Where the fuck is the gameplay? No, I think it's toward the end. It's not a lie. I've definitely saw
toward
some.
the end.
There's like a
Here we go.
hot second of gameplay. It's like, hold on, it's like here.
Okay, someone's chasing a Snorlax.
So
Charizard evolves.
the thing that's important about minions, Brittany, and MOBAs is that they are absolutely instrumental to your success or failure, because in order to take down towers, which helps you win the game, you have to have minions to take them down. Because if you go to attack a tower, so a tower, imagine a tower is like a turret, right? That shoots you if you get too close to it. So the tower has like a little radius around it, and if you step inside that radius, it's like a
You get shot up.
a turret that's like and like it doesn't just shoot you, it shoots you and like does really heavy damage to you very quickly. But if you have minions, the tower will always auto target the minions first.
Ah, okay.
And so you can step inside the radius and do damage to the tower while the tower is busy targeting the minions.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And
okay.
then towards like the end of the game, you can make them more powerful with certain buffs from the jungle if you get the Baron or whatever. And then you have what we call winions, which are winions. Like some games have been won from minions, which is just
I won many a game from minions, because what happens in the late game of a MOBA, Brittany, is that when you're like 45 minutes plus into a match, people are so focused on whatever champions they're having one-on-ones with, because by this time you've faced off with somebody.
It's the clown fiesta.
Yeah, you face off with somebody, and like some people just get bloodlust to take out other heroes or champions or whatever the name is of the characters in whatever MOBA is your thing, and they forget about the minions because the minions are on auto deploy. So every X amount of minutes,
a wave
of minions will spawn from each base and will travel in opposite directions to the enemy side. And the idea is like, well, if there's towers in the way, the towers will destroy those minions. But at a certain point, the tower is going to take enough damage over time that the minions will destroy the tower. And so if you don't manage minions as a defender, the minions could eventually whittle down all of your towers and make their way to your base and destroy your nexus, your core, whatever the thing is, depending on the MOBA, however they name it. And if you don't pay attention because you're too busy fighting down a champion instead of managing the little guys.
The objectives? Are you saying it is an objectives-based game?
I am.
Oh my
Summer.
goodness.
So
MOBAs
much
are
to
objective-based. Don't just go in there and try and team fight or even 1v1 someone. That's not what the game is about.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Interesting.
team fights are fun, but if you're not managing
only if you win,
waves of
otherwise they're
minions, and because what happens sometimes, Brittany, is like mid game is where this is really kind of where you see it a lot, is you'll get waves of minions that will stop at a tower because the tower is like pew, 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 then one at a time, and then a second wave of minions will come, and then they'll form like a super group of minions. At least this happened in Paragon a lot, that if like mid to late game, if you were ignoring minions to focus on jungle bosses or the prime buff or whatever, like things that helped your team overall, and were ignoring the minions in the lane, they would form these giant clusters and they would just like roll over anything in the lane, and then that's how you get winions, because like they take down the nexus of the core for you. Well, you don't have to do anything because you're too busy fighting other heroes, champions, whatever.
And then like Simon was saying, you can buff them and whatnot. So I'm assuming they can withhold more damage or withstand more damage.
Yeah, like towards the end, like the real winions are like when you take down they're called inhibitors in League. I don't know if they're called that across.
They were called inhibitors in in
so
Paragon
like
too.
There's a few towers, and then after the towers, like in the base, there are inhibitors. Once you can knock down an inhibitor, big tanky boy minions start to spawn. And then if you get the Baron buff on top of that, they start to take things down fairly quickly.
So an inhibitor, Brittany, is like a super tower. It's like there's usually 3, one that protects each lane. and they're like the big giant turret that is trying to protect the home base, like trying to protect the castle behind it. And so they're like, okay, if you take the big tower down, then you're really like up Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. If they can take, you call it like breaking into the base. Like when you start to take down those inhibitor towers, then you're just kind of
once you lose an inhibitor in a MOBA, like the alarms start going off. It's like fire alarms are going off. It's like,
because you just really have to be managing your base a lot more. You have to be in there a lot more because like the Winions, as she said, can come in and destroy it, or somebody can try and backdoor, which is a real term. It's not dirty.
I'm all excited.
I mean, it can be both, but yeah. So yeah, there's a whole lot to MOBAs.
Well, this was a good introduction to the lingo of minions and inhibitors.
But this looks like I don't even know what to call this because I'm not even sure I'd call it a MOBA because it's anyway. I don't know. We need to see more because it feels like when you strip away minions, when you strip away the complexity of the jungle, when you strip away a lot of those things, it kind of just feels like you're running down a lane to attack each other, and that's it. It's like a weird ARAM, but not in the middle. So ARAM stands for all random, all mid. And it's a different mode of League where it's just one lane and you have a very randomized champion pool. You don't do picks or bans or anything. And you all just you just go. It's exactly what it sounds like. There's a few towers, but you're all just it's mostly about team fighting, really. So you don't have any of the strategy around going through the jungle, getting buffs, doing ganks or anything like that. You're just like, it's just oh,
I miss playing MOBAs.
But this kind of feels like you're just doing team fights but through different lanes, which is not really.
It almost feels more like an arena game that just has lanes that you travel down. So instead of just being a true like multiplayer arena,
granted we've seen like maybe 4 seconds of footage, so it could be incorrect.
Yeah, it's very little. It's very little.
There was on the reveal itself, there was a whole game that was going down. I didn't understand any of it. Plus, it was 6:15 in the morning. But this is interesting on IGN. Yesterday's Pokemon Presents broadcast has accrued 170,000 dislikes in under 24 hours.
No! Oh yeah,
a strong response from fans. And then the channel's second most disliked video in the standalone trailer for the game has 55,000. Okay. Anyway, wow, that's a lot.
Why are people so mad though?
I think because especially people are like, MOBA, I don't want a Pokemon MOBA. But I'm like, actually, a real Pokemon MOBA could be pretty interesting.
Yeah. And plus, I think, and I was a little guilty of this, but I do like some hype. A lot of the rumors were like, oh, it's going to be a gold, silver, or heart. What's it called?
LOL.
Heart, gold, soul,
Definitely
silver.
Not.
Remake, because we all looked into the nitty gritty, thought maybe it'd be like a let's go, but that wasn't it, and people got real mad. Clearly,
this headline is just
come on, The Verge. It says Pokemon Unite is a League of Legends style team-based strategy game. I'm like, don't dump down League like that.
Because I also don't like from top down. If you look at it,
okay,
sure, it's got lanes. It looks like maybe there is a jungle, but it's hard to tell. Really what's going on in there. But if you're talking about like you catch those Pokemon, it feels like it just isn't. That definitely is not. I would not compare this to League other than it has a map with lanes. Like that seems accurate. And that seems
I don't see any minions here. I just see Pokemon.
It feels like you probably Pokemon will go ahead. Go ahead, Britt.
Okay, it says battling wild Pokemon will capture them, earning you points that you can then bank in scoring areas. Whatever that is.
Scoring. Yeah, like there's definitely aspects to this game that are unique to it, and that's cool and neat, but I don't know that I would necessarily call this a MOBA. At this point, with the information that I have. It's like its own weird, strange little hybrid, especially because part of the oh my god, sorry, watching the animations of them running is just really funny.
I found that stream that you were talking about, Britt, where they showed the gameplay of Pokemon Unite, and I do think it's cute, like watching the little Snorlax, and he's like capturing a point there. Like I think that there's like good like MOBA elements, but to compare to League of Legends, I think is wildly inaccurate.
Yes. Yeah, no, this feels more like a battle arena kind of a thing that just happens to have some lanes, happens to have a couple other unique properties like capture points. Because there aren't like capture points in League where you stand on them. That's not a thing.
Yeah. No, to capture anything, you have to destroy
You
it.
destroy the towers.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I own the map, bitch.
Yeah.
Come at me.
We
Just
weren't
like that.
trying to do like a whole MOBA lesson, but hopefully you
Also,
guys.
yeah, I'm like, where are your wards, huh? Do you have any wards?
Dude, listen, you can't have a successful team without words. I
It's
try to
true.
tell the noobs this every time.
I know. They're like, the support should do it. You're like, everybody should do it.
Everybody puts the words
Everybody
up.
gets wards.
Yeah, every fucking buddy gets wards.
Yeah, that's right, Britt.
She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what I just said, but I'm here with you. I support both of you.
It's about
I'm here to
map
support
fog.
your
It's
message.
okay. There's lots.
Yes.
Oh, we should have like a deep dive on MOBA sometime.
Yeah, you two
fun.
can have like your little MOBA podcast or something, you know? Jeez,
Wow.
I'll just sit
Wow,
here by
Britt.
myself and think about all the
Wow.
things I don't know. I don't know.
Would you like to learn?
Maybe.
We would be happy to teach you.
We can teach you on a like, because here's the thing that you can be versus bots. You can be versus AI.
Yeah, you can play. You can play versus the computer. I played that way in
That's how you
in
learn.
Paragon all the time.
Yeah, I mean, real talk. I would like to learn how to do a MOBA. Do the MOBAs because I feel like it's important. But right now, I'm focused on raising turnips and watering my tomatoes. You know, on calm, relaxing games where I don't have to manage a whole bunch of minions and shit. You know.
See, that's what I do find fascinating about MOBAs is you can have different levels of complexity based on how you play. So you can jump into a bot game and really not even worry much about the minions other than stand behind them. Like very basic rules of just make sure you use them as meat shields. And like that's their function there, and that's all you need to really know. And you like then you can kind of get into the more complex elements of like last hitting a minion, which is a whole other thing we didn't talk about. That's
Ooh.
very important for
That's
your
like
AD
deep
carry
strats, though. That's
or
like deep
bot.
strats.
It
Styler.
is, and like so yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like you can just go in and play against really easy bots and not know about 90% of the shit you need to be doing and be fine.
Okay.
But when you start to play with people, even there is like a very high skill range where you can like when I play on normals. I don't play ranked. I'm not warding very much, especially not what you would need to if you wanted to be really competitive. Again, like my ADC, I usually play support. My AD carry is not usually last hitting all that well. Like there's just like you're not.
Brittany's like so much jargon.
You know
I can't
what,
handle
Brittany?
it.
You do this to me all the time.
I know. I'm smiling and I'm nodding and I'm saying "fuck the wards" or something like that, or
So,
the wards are good.
Wards are good.
Award
Wards are
Brittany
Wards are
is an in-game item that gives you map visibility. So a lot of the map in a MOBA is covered in like a fog.
Fog of war.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And a ward will give you, if you place it in a particular part of the map, it opens up that fog so you can see. Particularly useful for people who are mid by themselves, usually. And
jungle.
yeah, so they're not getting ganked by people in the jungle. So essentially what getting ganked means is like you're getting a surprise attack from somebody where you
did not
can't
like that
see-
word, or she really liked it. I'm not sure which.
No, I'm sorry. It's just 'cause get ganked in the jungle. It's just, you know.
Get kicked in the jungle.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
You should get ganked from the jungle, but you know you can also get
wait,
ganked
what?
in the
You can
jungle
get ganked
too.
anywhere.
True, you can get ganked anywhere.
The jungle can gank me.
No, the jungle itself.
The jungler can
yeah.
gank you.
The
jungle
jungler
itself
can
won't do
jank
shit.
me in the jungle. This
no,
sounds like a
They'll
bedtime story.
probably
for
gank you. They will gank you in your lane. The jungler is usually the one doing the ganking, although lately in the meta it can also be a roaming mid laner. who
in the
comes-
meta specifically for League.
Yes.
So
So
you're saying if I'm in the jungle, a juggler will come gank me.
Juggler, no.
jungler.
Jungler is a role.
Jungler.
So the
Not a juggler.
Not
No.
a juggler.
It is
No,
too-
no.
too
Although there
okay.
is
it's
a
not
really
like a
creepy,
clown
like-
or a court jester.
There
no.
is a creepy clowny court jestery champ called Shaco, and I fucking hate him because he's creepy.
So, Brittany, there's obviously 5v5. There's one person's role on any MOBA is to be the jungler. The jungle is the area between the lanes in a MOBA
That's
map.
like your AI version. Like if you were like, I want to play against AI, like all of the
I'm just
jungle
thinking, what
is
am I
just.
going to call this section when I'm doing the timestamps tonight?
MOBA's explained for dummies. I don't know.
We're trying.
Hey!
We tried.
You're not
to
a dummy,
explain
Britt. That's not
MOBAs.
what I mean. I just, there's a
It's
whole
a
book
whole
line
book
that's
line.
called for dummies.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You can just name it Andrew and Steimer try to explain MOBAs to Brit. I don't know.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, so we should probably be done because we could talk about this for a long time,
yes.
and we have Cyberpunk to talk about.
Yes.
This has been fun. We definitely will try out this quote MOBA for Pokemon Unite when it comes out. I do want to give Nintendo props for finally doing something that's crossplay. We have yet to see crossplay really be implemented for Switch games. Obviously, like I know like Fortnite does it and some other studios are doing it, but like Nintendo developed games doing crossplay is something that we haven't really seen yet. So hopefully this is good that, you know, they're going to try it out with this, and then we'll see it for more of their multiplayer games. Maybe this means that they recognize that multiplayer is important and we won't have to do voice chat in a weird phone app, that they'll add voice chat to Switch.
I'm like, if you're going to do it on a phone app, it's going to be Discord.
I don't think it's so much Nintendo as much as it's Tencent, but you know, we'll give them some
fair.
credit.
I don't care who pays for it. If Tencent's gonna pay for it, great.
So long as it's in the game.
Yes, exactly. All right, that's gonna do it for the news for this week. When we come back, we are going to talk about spoilers, more news, but it's all about Cyberpunk, and then we're gonna get into Brittany's whopper of a 4-hour hands-on session. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Robot genitals.
That's a choice.
I think
it is a choice.
It's probably not what this is actually about.
No. It's all about
Talking about
Cyberpunk 2077. And
yeah, Cyberpunk.
ooh,
Cyber,
Yeah,
you know,
it is
I think the
Cyberpunk.
thing about that is because it comes through my headphones so intimately in my ear when you do that voice.
wait, let's just hear it one more time. Everybody be quiet.
The Cyberpunk.
I'm into it. I love it. Okay, so the first episode of Night City Wire hit this week, and I assume that most of you saw it, but for those of you that didn't, our friends over at IGN did a nice little write-up from CD Projekt Red's live stream this week, and they say that Cyberpunk 2077 got a brand new reveal through the Night City Wire, a digital live stream. I don't know why they chose to make all this exposition. So they detailed some things. One of the big things that they detailed of gameplay elements was called brain dancing. Brain dancing is a recording of someone else's experience and lets you live through their memories, their sights, smells, sounds, everything that will be experienced by you through brain dance.
Except the smell, because it's a fun.
I hadn't seen it before she came over to the studio today, and I rewatched it a second time. I was like, oh, I'm sure there's game.
I was like, what do you got? It was like Wonka vision up in here. What's going on?
Smell-o-vision?
Yeah, I'm like, no.
I was like, you're right, Steimer.
It's not real. I don't
Got
know.
him.
And
Don't
got
got him.
I'm just like,
Hey, listen, unless you can, you got all those little cyberware gadgets and gizmos in your...
Thing that you got sent, the Smell-o-vision, was that for like a South Park thing?
Yeah, it was for South Park the Fractured
Oh, the
Butthole.
fart
It was
thing.
the fart vision.
Farto-vision or
smell-o-vision.
something?
yeah.
It was called like the fart something. I don't know what it was. But yeah, whenever you would fart, it would emit a gas into your nose, and it was fucking terrible.
I mean, unless they're shipping that with every single copy of this game, I don't believe them anymore. And they should have just left that particular sense out of it.
You're right. You got him.
Okay,
You got 'em.
okay, wait.
So-
The sight, smell, sounds, everything. That's supposed to be through V's lens.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like, so
Oh.
like what? You're going to be like, I smelled popcorn. You know what's around the corner? A popcorn factory. Let's go to the popcorn factory. I have solved the riddle.
I can tell this is a hill you're going to die on, baby girl. So
It's
I'm gonna
not.
let you
No,
die on it.
it's
Oh.
fine. I really don't care. I just thought it was funny because I was like, what? But yeah, honestly, I could have just solved a mystery in one of the things, and that could be what it is. It could be at the popcorn factory with the candlestick.
In the dining room.
Okay, continuing on. In an extended gameplay preview, V was showing living through the memory of someone else's robbery in a grocery store in analysis mode, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to run this down. Like, honestly, like, I thought the brain dance mechanic was a little belabored in the live stream. If you want to know all about the details, you can go watch the Night City Wire for yourself.
But it does play similarly. We were talking about it when watching to
Detroit
Become Human. Yeah.
My brain went to Beyond Two Souls, and I was like, that was not the correct game. Other game.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong
Quantic Dream game.
So the player will be working with a character named Jackie on a hunt for a legendary chip of immortality. Jackie introduces the player to a fixer that will introduce them to new chips and enhancements. I think this is just a specific quest in the game, right?
She said in the thing that like everything they showed was all in the prologue. So yeah.
You're talking about one Holly Bennett?
I am talking about one Holly Bennett and her fabulous lashes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Shout out to
gosh.
Holly. She's not only in the video
PlayStation,
games
yeah?
business, and she's wonderful and also has fabulous lashes.
Yes.
So continuing on, it's outside the city walls. There's a district called the Badlands. So this is IGN. I believe this is Ryan McCaffrey's playthrough. So we'll get to Britt's playthrough in just a second. Essentially, like you have a couple different origin stories, 3 different origin stories that you can choose from at the beginning of the game, and then you'll go and play through that before kind of Night City opens up for you. So Steimer.
They did not only announce this, they had something else up their sleeve. It is Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
A cyberpunk.
2077 anime was announced. So this is, Cyberpunk Edgerunners is an anime set in the universe of Cyberpunk 2077 and has been announced for release on Netflix in 2022.
Lipstick.
Yeah, a little anticlimactic there, but that's fine. Edgerunners will be set in the game's Night City, but will focus on different characters with a different story. Edgerunners tells a, quote, standalone 10-episode story about a street kid trying to survive in a technology and body modification-obsessed city of the future. Having everything to lose, he chooses to stay alive by becoming an Edgerunner, which is a mercenary outlaw, also known as a cyberpunk. CD Projekt Red will act as a producer on the series with Studio Trigger working as the animation studio, and Hiroyuki Imaishi. Sorry, I'm so sorry, I butchered names. Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Promare. I don't know what that is.
Those are just like credits.
Oh, those are things he's worked on. Great. Directing. Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka. God, Brittany, you should have read these. Yamaoka will compose the score. Also, at the end of the first episode for Night City Wire, CD Projekt Red confirmed that the next episode will debut in, quote, just a few weeks, but did not give a specific date yet, nor did they really talk about what they will speak on in the future. So, we will get more Cyberpunk news in the future. Overall, I felt like their Night City Wire was slightly anticlimactic. It just felt a little bit like it drilled on too long for my taste. But I do think the game looks beautiful, and we were watching it in 4K, I believe.
Yeah, so when I watched it originally, I watched the live stream, and as everybody knows, getting anything to stream in 4K is almost impossible. But when Steimer came over later in the day, before we shot the podcast, I saw that the upload on YouTube was available to watch in 4K. So we Chromecasted it in 4K to the television, and it looked amazing. It looked like night and day from when I watched it on the stream. And obviously they put the disclaimer up. This isn't what final gameplay is going to look like. I think that's been, from what I've heard from my developer friends, the biggest challenge about not having E3 is that they're trying to showcase what the game is going to actually look like by streaming it online, fully realizing that everybody's internet connection is different, everybody's browser, platform, whatever you want to use, is going to make the gameplay look different. While at E3, if you're watching it in a demo room, they have complete control over how the gameplay is going to look. And so I feel for the devs being like, please don't judge the way the game looks because we are doing our best. And it's not their fault that, like, you know, capital Y YouTube is like down-resing their stream. You know?
I mean, yeah.
But they are, right? Like, like to get like a special pass to stream in 1080p or 4K is like, from what I've heard, not possible, because the way that they've compressed streams to minimize bandwidth across the globe for everybody who's like working from home now, it's just like not possible. So, but like watching the video on demand back, like, oh my gosh,
very,
gorgeous.
very crisp.
So if you haven't gone back to watch it a second time, like, highly recommend.
Yeah, so it was really pretty, and like I did think the braindance thing looked fun again because it reminds me of things we've done in games before, and I always do kind of like that, to be like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? And like try and solve the puzzle.
That investigative work.
Although the funnier part to me was I pointed out if you look at the brain dance segment on the cashier's counter, there is a Rubik's Cube, but there's only 4 squares of that Rubik's Cube. And I was like, what is this, a Rubik's Cube for babies? Like, why is this there?
I didn't even notice
Because if
that.
they put an actual Rubik's Cube, they'd probably have to pay Mr. Rubik for...
Oh, do you think, wait, is that like, do you think it's really copyrighted based on the amount of squares that's in it?
Absolutely, I do.
Oh,
Have
wow.
you seen patent law in the United
I haven't.
States?
No, I haven't. I don't know.
Oh
That's
my
that's actually really interesting. I hadn't
Yeah, it's
thought
kind of
about
funny in this advanced civilization that they can only handle Rubik's Cube with 4 squares.
that. You know, those chips in their brains not quite living up to what
Can't handle math.
everyone believed they would be.
But overall, I thought it was a good presentation, but I'm with you, Steimer, that I was hoping for more. I thought they spent way too much time on the brain dance mechanic. I'm like, this is not a new mechanic. We've seen this. We want to see more of Night City. We want to see more driving. We want to see more characters.
Well, I don't. I just want. Okay, here's what I need you to tell me. Is there an auto drive? Do I have to drive in this, or can I just fucking say I want to go here and the car will drive itself? Because if it can't, that seems very uncyberpunky.
Brit?
So
I did not have the opportunity to use AutoDrive. I don't know if it even exists, honestly.
God
All
damn
the
it, CDP.
previews I've read as well haven't mentioned anything about it, but there is fast travel, so.
okay. Well, I'm gonna have to drive there first probably, and then unlock fast travel, and never fucking drive again. I do not. I do not enjoy driving in video games. I really in Witcher 3 enjoyed riding around on Roach. That was super fun. I don't know why it's different for me in games. Why driving is so much more of a mental hurdle than a horse.
Because you like having the animal companionship.
Yeah, I'm like the horse is so much more loving.
And typically in games with horses, it's not those narrow streets and like fire hydrants and poles and people everywhere. It's more like open.
You feel less constricted by the map on a horse usually, because it usually is more of like, here's a field, and you're like, oh, beautiful, lovely, and then
I don't have to worry about running into anything.
There's a building you're gonna crash into in about 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, I did that.
Love it. Thanks.
Okay, so we've given you guys kind of like a high level of what we saw in Night City Wire without going into some of the specifics about the skill trees, because we've got our reporter on the streets, one Brittany Brumbacher.
Ah, yes, get your cigar out, everybody, and start chewing on that thing.
I don't even know what you just said, but the voice you used was magnificent. Thank you, Simon, for that.
You're very welcome.
That was great. Yeah. Oh my God. Blah, 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 blah. So I have 12 pages of Microsoft Word notes in front of me.
Wait, 12 pages is a very specific number for Microsoft Word. How big are your margins, though?
I don't fucking know. How big are your
they
margins,
regular?
baby
Are
girl?
they like inch margins, like the just standard margins?
I
normal.
go with 1/4 inch margins. I'm a rebel.
How do you find out how big my margins are?
Don't worry about it. It was meant to be a joke, Brittany. Continue on.
She's like, but no, really, what are my margins? I don't know. I'm concerned.
Margins, I have to know.
It's fine.
Okay, yeah, so it's 12 pages, but don't fear too much. Most of them are just bullet points, but I'm going to try to stick to the order of this because it's more or less in the order of the demo, which was about 4.5 hours long. And I think the demo did a really good job at kind of walking you through, because the whole demo was the prologue.
Thank you, CD Projekt Red, by the way, for giving us access to this.
Yeah, thanks, friends. It was fun. I was a
FTC
little worried.
disclaimer.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta
FCC.
we gotta tell the FTC that
FCC.
That they
it's
gave,
FTC.
I played a
Is
demo.
it the
of
trade
a
or
thing.
is it the communications? That was the FCC.
Great question.
FTC.
Federal
Government's
Trade
hard.
FTC,
It's one of those
baby.
F's and C's with another letter in
Commission.
the middle.
It's for somebody in the government
It's
to
for
know.
someone to not come after us and be like, hey, see?
Don't sue us.
You've been misleading your audience, and they thought that you magically got access to this with no help from anyone.
So it was a great opportunity. So thank you, CD Projekt Red. So it was a little funny how, well, not funny. It's just technology still blows me away. I feel so old when I say that. But we use GeForce now. Essentially, I was streaming it, and then I had a developer, MJ, from the team who was watching me play.
he my friend.
MJ was so great.
He very
Shout
nice.
out to
So helpful.
MJ.
Very,
and
very
so
nice.
GeForce Now, for people who are unfamiliar, is NVIDIA's cloud gaming streaming platform. It's essentially their version of Project X Cloud or their version of, I mean, PlayStation Now? Does that count?
Question mark? I don't know.
Maybe Stadia would be a better. No,
So
different. Stadia's
Stadia.
different. But yeah, essentially it's streaming. It's cloud gaming streaming, and like people are saying that GeForce Now is a really huge potential competitor to Xbox's xCloud. Anyway, continue.
Okay. So we were a little worried because there's no GeForce. Oh, what's it called? You probably know, Andrea.
Server.
There's server. Thank you. that little word that I should be very familiar with around my neck of the woods. So we weren't sure if the signal was going to be good enough, but it turns out it was good enough to make it work.
Woohoo!
So yeah, it was great. And so, like I said, it was fun having MJ to watch. And if I ever had any questions, I could just talk into my microphone and be like, MJ, what's happening? And then he would show up on the little chat log on the right.
Oh my
gosh,
it was a good
that's
time. Amazing.
It was really fun.
It's like having the power of God next to you. Just
And,
like,
and I wasn't going to lie.
Exactly.
I was secretly hoping all of her tests would fail so that I could play.
oh, shit.
That's a good
Do not wish ill upon your friend.
I didn't wish
I
ill.
know.
I was just like, well, Brittany lives in the middle of nowhere in her
It's
giant
true.
mansion of a house.
Those trees are bad for the
she
internet.
brought this on herself.
See, fucking trees.
It's the
Oh,
trees.
Steimer,
It's
you
always
get me.
the trees. And like they godly jobble up the signal and you don't
They
know.
eat
if-
all the signals. That's
just-
why all the trees are so big out here. Is they eat all the signals.
They're
and
all
then they just-
thriving based on all the Wi-Fi out there.
They're mutant trees. It's true. It's absolutely true.
I'm sorry, folks. We've digressed.
I'm
Brittany,
sorry. Okay,
your
yes, go.
playthrough.
Brittany,
Oh, this is
tell
so
us
great.
about
I love this
Cyberpunk.
so much. So I didn't play with mouse or keyboard. I played with an Xbox One controller, which
Damn
is really
straight
funny.
you did.
Toward the end, the Bluetooth was kind of like spazzing out, so my poor V was like going in circles. And I said, "I'm sorry, MJ. You're probably getting so fucking dizzy right now. There's nothing I can do about this. I apologize." But it did not hinder my gameplay experience. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, if you're like, "What the hell is Cyberpunk all about?" CD Projekt Red sent over the super duper handy dandy. I'm gonna get the official name of it right here. Night City Guide, which has a lot of great info. So I pulled some of that into my coverage to help me along here. So the official premise of Cyberpunk. You play as V, a mercenary outlaw set to take on the riskiest job of their life. The score? A prototype piece of cyberware that holds the key to immortality. With stakes this high, you need to be prepared to enhance, change, and sacrifice your body in order to overcome your enemies and build your legend. Your story begins with you carving out a foothold in the city and learning what it takes to make a name for yourself. You're ambitious, but inexperienced, and during the course of your story, you'll choose how to develop yourself into a name everyone in Night City knows and remembers. And just for those of you who are like, what is Night City? Night City is a world obsessed with power, glamour, and ceaseless body modification, and nothing epitomizes that more than Night City. The desperately poor live right next to the ultra-rich, torn between the watchful eyes of almighty mega corporations and the vicious embrace of psycho gangs. Whoa.
So basically, it's Los Angeles.
But with more cybernetics.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
But,
you
like,
actually, like
50
if I could
years from
go
now.
tomorrow and be like, "Hi, I'd like a knife as an arm, please," and they were like, "Sure."
I bet you could do that today, but
Not in
It'd be
the not
super
with the
black
not with
market.
like the cool
it just wouldn't be
like,
acceptable. People would be like, "Bitch, why you got a fucking knife on your arm?"
This is just
like
my arm.
coming out
Not a
of
weapon.
it though. Like it would need to have the hydraulics. Is that the word? I don't know. Whatever the mechanism for it to like spin out of my forearm like it does in
Like
the
a blade?
trailer. Yeah,
Oh, the man
like
stuff,
that
right? I see
girl.
what
No,
you're
the
saying.
girl who she's like, "Pshing," and then like the blades come out of her forearms and she slices
Yeah,
people
that's
up.
the
And you're like,
the Mantis everywhere. Fucking great.
Ermager. Yes.
So my demo, like I said earlier, was about 4.5 hours or so, and it takes place from the very beginning of the game. So when you start the game up, you have your life paths that you can choose from, and these will most noticeably affect the beginning of your prologue and down the line. Certain dialogue options and probably the way people treat you will be a little different depending on what your life path is.
So,
you have
Dragon
3
Age
choices.
Origins
You got it, baby girl. You got it. Gotta love
in
you.
Cyberpunk.
So you have Street Kid, and this is, you know, the urban jungle better than most. You've got connections, street cred, and street smarts. You're resourceful and, most importantly, ambitious. Life's not easy, but it's one hell of a ride. And then you have the nomad. Most nomads roam in clans, but you're a lone wolf. Right now, you've made yourself familiar with the outskirts of the city known as the Badlands. But even for wandering off the grid nomads like you, the allure of Night City can prove overwhelming. And then finally, you have the corporate life path. You've made it. You're an, oh God, I'm going to mispronounce this. Araska.
Spell it?
How do I say?
Aristocrat?
Spell it.
No. It's, I keep fucking this up. It's Arasaka, and there's like 13 different ways you can pronounce it.
A-R-A-S. What? I'll
It's
type
one of the
it.
big mega corporations, and every time I look at it, I stumble.
R-A-S. What?
Wait, spell it again.
Arasaka.
A.K.
Arasaka?
Thank you. I look at like Arasaka. You're an Arasaka agent with body oozing with top-of-the-line military-grade cyberware. There's stress and pressure, sure, but you've got perks that the general populace can only experience via brain dance. You've got it all. What could possibly go wrong? Which is one of my favorite sayings of all time. So depending on the life path you choose, you're going to start the game in different areas. I chose the Nomad life path, so I started the game out in the Badlands. If you choose the Street Kid life path, you're going to start out in the city center. And if you start with the corporate life path, you're going to be in Haywood, which is known for its bars and clubs and gang members.
Ooh,
So I'm
fancy.
definitely going corporate.
Yeah, you are. So is
Yeah.
it just depending, or does it also impact? Because when you were reading those descriptions, I was like, I imagine this also impacts your at least initial starting stats for your character.
Okay, I'm glad you asked, Simon,
Okay, good.
because right after that, you got to make your character. You got to customize your character. So I didn't spend too much time in the physical section of this because I was told from the very get-go that, hey, this is the prologue is very long and you have 4 hours. So, like, you might want to, like, keep it pushing. So I did. But it came out today in I wish I had the source in front of me. But there are 6 skin types, 35 hairstyles, 17 eyes, 8 eyebrows, 17 eyes, 17 mouths, jaws, and ears, 8 bits of cyberware, 9 types of scars, 6 types of tats, 11 piercings, 5 teeth. It goes on and on. But then
5?
it
There's
gets
only
more-
5 teeth? Just kidding. I'm
5
kidding.
types of teeth.
I know, I'm joking.
Who needs teeth in the future, really?
They're all metal, baby.
You can have 3 different types of nipples. You can have 2 dick
Oh.
types, 1 vagina option, and you have dick size options.
What
and
the
5
fuck? There's
types of
2
pubic
dicks
hairs.
and 1 vagina. What the fuck?
That's kind of
I'm
weird.
telling you,
What
man,
the
it's not
fuck?
fair.
But also, I don't know
Never-
why you're picking it what it looks like at all. because
also,
aren't you
for the
wearing pants?
record, the vagina is inside your body.
That's true.
It's not a vagina type. It's a labia type.
You're correct.
Let me just like push
Let me
my glasses
science
up
you
for a
real
moment.
quick.
That's actually really interesting because when you have 2 different kinds of dicks, and to be fair, like I didn't look at the dicks that well. I was like,
But
okay,
why
well,
not?
there's 6.
Wait, you
you-
didn't?
You're
I feel like
supposed to be our dick correspondent.
that's something that you would like really dig into.
If I'm gonna be like real honest with you, I didn't want MJ to think I was a fucking freak.
Oh, okay. This is a good point. This is a good point. You did have someone watching you. I can imagine that would alter your behavior.
Yeah, and so I did flip between the 2, and every time I did, they would pop up and dangle around, and then you can like change the size of them. I did notice that. I did not fuck with my nipples, but I did give myself a vagina. And so, Sam, I know you were saying earlier, or you don't have to touch that stuff at all. You don't have to have anything.
Oh, okay.
So, like, to be clear, if you do
Yes.
not want to explore genitalia, you do not have to.
I believe there's an option to turn it all off.
okay.
okay.
Because I feel like I did that. And then I was like, well, there's an option to have a vagina. And then I turned it on, and I was like, there's the vagina. You know?
I'm just more curious, like, if you make your dong really big, does it show in pants later? Like, do you have like a
Oh,
John
yeah.
Hamm moment, or
Hmm.
is it just like it doesn't matter in your
But is
Ken
it?
doll?
See, this is why I'm disappointed that there's only one like labia option. 'Cause, like, what if you could have
Would
like?
you want a more severe camel toe?
But yeah, like, what if you could give yourself like intense camel toe? All I'm saying is, if you're gonna give 2 dick options, you give 1 labia option. Kind of fuck you.
That's, you know what, you're not wrong, Andrea, and you can even affect the dick size like you're. So I don't know. I didn't see any, labia
like a push
options.
pull
but
action, like
perhaps-
Play-Doh for the labia. Just
Maybe somebody. You know what I brought this up is because someone tweeted to you, Brittany, earlier. That was
Uh-oh.
like, I have to be able to make a wizard sleeve in this game, or I'm out.
I
You're
don't,
like, can I make a wizard sleeve in this game?
I don't even know what
We're
that
like,
is,
well,
but that's okay. I'll look it up later.
It basically just means very loose labia.
Oh,
okay.
I've never heard
Yeah,
it called
It's like
that.
a sleeve of labia.
It's like,
I have not heard of this term before, but okay.
oh my god, no, someone else.
We just
put it up.
want
They
like
really funny.
loose genital equality. Okay.
Oh
We
my
just
gosh,
want
no,
All
it's fucking
genitalia to be
hilarious.
represented equally.
It's
So
true.
give
Someone
everybody
else tweeted something
one
out.
tick. Wait,
Really.
what was the difference between the dicks so that you could tell offhand without MJ
No,
thinking
she
you're a
just
perv?
said that she
Oh.
didn't examine the difference because she felt awkward that the PR person
know,
was
but, like,
watching her play.
surely-
If
you
I
could've
had to
noticed-
take a guess,
Okay.
it could be maybe one was thicker than the other, maybe one was circumcised, maybe one wasn't.
Oh,
I think the
that
circumcised
might
versus
be a good one.
uncircumcised feels like a natural
Yeah.
binary selection when
Yeah.
it comes to penises.
Yeah. So Kaylee, is it Kaylee or Callie? Plug? I'm so sorry.
Callie.
Callie, yeah, from GameSpot. She said there will be no equality in games until we can fully customize some absolute fat gorilla grip style puss in every.
Intense, Callie.
I'm just like, what on earth is happening?
Oh,
I mean, I don't need, like, to be clear, I do not need labia customization in a game, but in a game that is choosing to make genitalia a customizable feature of your character, like, why stop at just dicks? Go full equality and let there be equal options.
Not only
That's my only
that, I
point.
feel like the dicks are harder to animate.
Correct.
Yeah. Vagina.
Okay, anyways, we should move on from this. 'cause
Yes.
this is-
Yeah,
we're
we probably
derailing the
should. I
conversation.
think I mentioned there's 5 types of pubic hairs, but if I didn't, there we
Oh
go.
my
You
goodness.
did not mention that. Holy
Wow.
shit. What?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's
No, let's blow past that. Keep going.
Just keep rolling.
Just keep
rolling.
going.
because we'll get stuck on that for another 10 minutes. Okay. So I created my stereotypical, like, my hot blonde girl. And I was like, okay, cool, let's get into this. And so, like I said, I picked the nomad path. So then at that point, you get to customize your attributes. So these are body, reflex, intelligence, technical ability, and cool. So for example, body improves health, increases melee damage, max stamina. It lets you open new passages, I'm assuming with your big, strong body. And you can force people out of cars, which I thought was kind of like a funny little like tidbit.
It's like a
thrown into
GTA
that.
move where you're just like, get out of mine.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Maybe you like GTA someone, you're like, get the fuck out, I want your car.
That's,
and then you have,
that's literally what she just said.
oh, no.
Yeah,
you know
I mean, I assumed.
Skype?
I was like, I was gonna give her the benefit of the doubt because
Internet.
it's hard to do shows like this.
Yeah, Skype. Sometimes
But you know what? Can I
We've-
just
We've done it for
quick
3
aside?
years.
What's Good Fucking Games has been doing this long before the pandemic, bitches.
So true. So true.
Okay, continue, Brittany.
I will continue. Okay. And then you have reflex, which is your coordination and speed. So this increases your critical chance, your attack movement speed, your evasiveness, how well you handle rifles, handguns, and blades.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have intelligence, which is your intellect and memory. So this helps you with reduced hacking difficulty levels, shortens program upload duration, more memory for hacking, dialogue options, technical ability pretty much speaks for itself. It increases your armor amount, increases crafting ability, proficiency with tech weapons, and it opens you things, new trees in dialogue. And then you have the cool stat, which is described as how well you hold up in dicey situations. This is your self-control and willpower. So improves your stealth, how fast NPCs notice you, crit hit damage, improves effect resistances, and how good of an assassin you are.
Oh.
So at this point, you get to put all of your little points in. I don't remember how many they give you from the beginning, but I'm pretty sure I put most of mine. Pretty sure I put most of mine into body and reflex because I wanted to have lots of health for my face tanking with my rifles, handguns, and blades.
But the different 3 paths that you choose at the beginning didn't automatically like put extra points in any one of those particular
Oh, I
ones.
don't know.
Okay,
I don't know if I
okay.
did that or not. But
So
I know I
question
had
mark
the
there, we're
opportunity
not
to
sure.
like. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I haven't read anything about that, and I've read this Night City guide from top to bottom, but
Okay.
who knows? Okay. So then the demo starts off. So I guess like if you're worried about the prologue getting a little spoiled for you, I'm going to keep it as vague as possible. But for reasons that I feel like that, like, again, the demo did a really good job at integrating mechanics in a very natural way. That some of this I'm going to talk about. So just, like, don't worry, I'm not spoiling
Not
that
only
much.
that,
All
I
this-
feel like the prologue is gonna be like a scratch of the surface, really, for
oh,
this game.
dude,
So
that's an understatement. Oh God.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So because I played as a nomad, I chose that as my life path. I began in the Badlands, and something had happened to my car, and I was in a mechanic shop. And so, for those of you who don't know, Cyberpunk 2077 takes place in California, and you have Night City, but all around Night City, you have the Badlands, which is this big, vast, barren wasteland where you have, like a worn down road, and you have a few trailers along the side. And that's more or less the setting of the Badlands. There's like old wrecks that clearly no one cares about. It's just like, think about like Borderlands. It's very like
It's
dusty.
like Barstow
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Brittany says, yeah, she has no idea what I'm referring to.
I don't even know.
Just
Basically,
smile and nod.
like it feels like from the images I saw, it just feels like outskirts Los Angeles, like the outskirts of the metro, like when you're like beyond like Palm Springs or like on your way to Coachella, but you're not quite there, and you're like, ooh, this is kind of grimy. What happened?
Kenny Grammy.
The desert
So I believe
happened.
That geographically, it takes place. It's between LA and SF around San Jose. I think that's like
San Jose is not in between.
Well, that's what I read on the Wikipedia, you know? So it's like I do what I can.
Between LA and SF, San Jose is deep Silicon Valley. So I would probably it probably feels like more like grapevines, like Central California, where you're traveling along the 5 and there's just like dust and trees for miles. Yeah.
It
just smells like manure the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Right. Okay. So something had happened to my car, and I was at a mechanic shop, and that's basically all I know. I was heckled by a sheriff for a little bit. I finally got my ass out of the mechanic shop, and I made my way to a radio station. So I probably could have gotten out of the car and looked around and chatted with people, but I know I didn't have that much time. But as you are driving, you do see people alongside the street who have little blue triangles over their head, and then I think that means they have conversations or something that they would say to you if you were to stop and get out. But alas, I did not. So I got to the radio tower and I talked to someone that was from my old clan, because when you chose the nomad path, you have, I think, just recently left your clan and you're on your own. And I called a person named Willie McCoy, and I'll find them because they have the cargo I'm supposed to transport and I need my money. And Willie's like, fine, I'll help you again. Your client is Jackie Wells. And so then I'm like, okay, cool. So then I need to drive to Jackie Wells.
Hey, don't you judge Jackie's trailer farm.
He maybe grows basil in the corner. You don't know.
You know what, Simon? I should not.
I feel targeted because I have a basil plant. She's judging me and my weather.
I'm calling your house a farm.
I didn't know you were a farmer. That's so cool. Congratulations.
Thanks,
wait, but
friends.
Brittany, actually, you went through the character attributes, but you didn't actually say how you built your character. So I'm curious to know if you built more dialogue heavy, if you were like, I'm going to try and build as beefy of a character as possible. What did you do for the demo?
I think Skype cut me out. So I
she did mention she built it as a face tank.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I just
missed that. So I put most of mine into reflex and body because I wanted to be able to face. I believe later on that gave me options to use, which looked like a little like a mechanical dialogue option because I passed the check. But
cool.
Anywho. So in the top right corner, and this is just something I love, is a little like map, but it does tell you where you need to go. It's a very like detailed like path of. You follow this, you're going to end up where you got to go, which I love so much because I don't have time to get lost in this world. Thank you very much. And so then I went and talked to Jackie. So for those of you who don't know who Jackie is, you've seen him in all the trailers so far. He's just a big dude. He has a nice little like black ponytail and he often speaks Spanish. So in Cyberpunk, you have like personal translators, I guess is what you would call it. It's a chip that you have in your system and you can automatically understand Spanish and Japanese. My understanding is as you progress and you run into different languages, you're going to have to upgrade your translation chip so you can understand what people are saying. But I'm thinking at this point, Jackie technically is speaking nothing but Spanish, but because of little translation, we can understand everything he's saying. So the interesting thing about Jackie is depending on which life path you choose, he's going to have a different story in himself. If you choose the corporate path, I think he's like a ex-coworker or a coworker of yours. If you choose the street kid path, he's someone who kind of wrongs you, but you guys have to join up. But in my case, in the nomad path, he is someone who needs cargo transported, and I'm the person to do it with him. So you meet up with him and you chat with him. And so the way the dialogue works is that you just have, I'm trying to think of a game that does it exactly like this. Kind of like the Outer Worlds in a sense, where it's just like lines of dialogue and you get to choose what you want. The top line will progress the conversation. The lines underneath that will just kind of give you more details. There are more instances where you'll have about 5 seconds to make a snap decision, or you can just say nothing and the game will just pick a choice for you. Then I'm trying to see what I can skip over here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we are transporting the cargo and we have to get over the border to do this. Jackie is very nervous during all this. We have to stop by border patrol, and we cross over. But of course, shit goes down. Things are wrong. Whoa! And at this instance, I had my first taste of combat in the game, which is vehicular combat.
Oh no!
Ooh, but don't you like vehicular combat?
Vehicular, I like it.
No me gusta.
And like, just so you know, Brittany, don't feel obligated to like go through all of the narrative details. I feel like everybody will be like, just gloss over it and go straight to like the meat.
I'm getting to the meat. The reason I'm doing that during this part of it is because it just makes sense. But don't worry, friends, going forward, I'm not going to get into all the nitty gritty. So anyway, at this point, you're in vehicle combat. Jackie is driving. It's very straightforward. It's like you lean out of the car, you push LT to aim down, you push RT to shoot, you push X to reload. If you're a passenger, you can use any kind of weapon. If you're a driver, you can only use a handgun because apparently you need a hand to drive the car, which I guess like makes sense.
Again, auto drive. Where is auto drive?
Why can't my genitals drive the car? It's 2077.
Or that, if you got a dick big enough, it should drive the car.
Can you imagine like a Dick Cyberware mod where it like comes up and it's like, okay, I'm gonna drive this for you, and it like wraps around like a snake, and then it like.
If I have a chip in my head that can tell me an auto translate, somebody speaking Spanish, and we currently in 2020 have cars that can already drive themselves, I think it's a big miss if this car can't drive itself. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what? You're not wrong. But Jackie was driving it for us, so we don't have to worry about
Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, there we go. What I did notice about the driving is that for me, there is an aim assist, which is really great. And nice. I don't know if that's turned on by default, if that's an option. I'm sure you can turn it off if you don't want it, but it was very, very, very helpful for this person right here. So it was an aim assist, and I also noticed when you were aiming down, the sights at the reticle moved very slowly, which is, again, great for me, but I'm sure there's a sensitivity option. If you wanted to move quicker, you could. But as far as like the shooting goes, and I'll talk about this a little bit later when I get into tutorial, it felt like a shooter. Like it shot. It wasn't obviously like they're not going for the Bungie level of Destiny here by any means, or Call of Duty, right? But it was good enough, and it worked for what this game is.
I think there's no need to analyze the gunplay right now, because that is also something that is going to be polished in the next couple of months before launch. But did you like the guns? Did the gunplay feel good and fun?
I'm glad you asked, because that's my next point on this, Andrea Renee. Good segue. I don't know if you meant to do that, but you did. Okay, so then the game skips forward in story, and then it's like, okay, we're going to teach you how to do the things. We're going to teach you how to shoot weapons. We're going to teach you how to hack. We're going to teach you how to have advanced combat and be stealthy. So the first thing to teach you is more of the weapons. So when you pick up a weapon in this game, it shows you DPS, the damage range, the attacks per second, if it has any additional perks. For example, I had a gun that had plus like 5 to 7 additional physical damage, and underneath that, I noticed there were 2 mod slots. But yeah, as far as like the shooting goes, again, very straightforward. Extra reload, LT, RT, B to crouch if you have cover in front of you. And maybe it was the aim assist for me that I felt like, yeah, this is good. This is great. This is exactly what's needed. It doesn't have to be fancy pants. It works. And I don't think that a game like Cyberpunk is going to stand out in the shooting or like the day-to-day.
No, like I don't think anybody is playing Cyberpunk for its, like, honestly, for its gameplay mechanics, right? Like, people are playing Cyberpunk for its world building and for its role playing elements, right?
Right. And so that's what I'm getting at, is if you're worried, because I got a lot of questions. Well, how's the gunplay? It's great. It's exactly as good as it needs to be, at least right now, for this game. So
did you have a chance, because I know you got like 4 hours, and I'm not sure how much time that is, to like experiment with any of the wackier kind of guns? Because I remember in a few demos they've showed, there are some where like you can ricochet bullets billiard style.
Yeah, so there are 3 different categories of weapons. For me, I just use the regular weapons in this game, which are called the power weapons. So that's just your straight up bullets and gunpowder. There are the smart weapons, which I think are the ones you're talking about, which are described as small handheld launchers for self-guided missiles, which apparently require no aiming. Oh. I think that's the one, right, where you can just like aim around the corner.
There was a different one where it was like all of the, I don't know, but.
So I think we'll just like maybe put all the gunplay aside, because like especially if we're getting more Night City Wire episodes, we'll probably delve more into that.
Well, tell us the last.
The last one is
because like you said you had 12 pages of notes.
I'm already halfway through. Okay. We're good.
Yeah. Cool. Let her just. What's the third type?
Let me follow my flow. And then there's the tech weapon, which is electromagnetic force generated by magnets that launches projectiles at incredibly high speeds for piercing armor. So yeah, I think that could have been a smart, but I don't know what that one was. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it teaches you hacking. So assuming you meet the hacking requirements, you'll need to solve a mini game, which is something that I have never really seen in a game before, but I'll talk about that in a sec. So hacking allows you to upload one or multiple programs to whatever you're hacking. So if you, in the tutorial, for example, there's an enemy watching the big screen. You push LB, this activates your scanner. It shows you all of the things that can be interacted with in that particular area, not just things that can be hacked. It'll show you hackable objects, job-related items, interactive objects, and enemies. And they're all color-coded, so you'll know what you're looking at. And so what you do is you push RB while you have LB selected. Hold down LB, it'll show you can hack. Hover your cursor over the thing you want to hack. Press RB, it'll open up a quick hack menu. And in order to hack, you have to have these things called memory points. And this is a skill that you can increase as you level up, obviously. For example, I wanted to do a hack called Distract Enemies because I wanted to distract that guy and then go up behind him and punch his face.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, it required 3 out of 5 hacking points. And I only had 5, which, okay, that was enough and that was sufficient. So I hacked the thing, I went up behind him and I punched him. That's like your basic hacking 101. But then where it gets a lot trickier is there were a couple of enemies in front of me, and apparently I was able to hack enemies because I'm assuming they have components in them, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
So I needed 13 memory points to do this hack, which was going to be using the call-in hack, which calls everyone to one particular area, and then detonate grenade, which attacks the target's neural cyberware, causing them to activate a grenade and hold it until it explodes.
Yikes.
That seems really not nice.
That seems like a major fault of these cybernetic companies that they would allow it to be hacked like that.
Turns out when you're all online, shit's bad.
That's why I would never get them. Just saying. You can't you can't trick me into blowing myself up.
See, you're smart, Snimer. That's why you would live in this world. So if you find that you don't have enough memory points, what you can do is this hack called Breach Protocol. And this is where that little mini game comes in. Once I was successful with that, I then had enough memory points to cause the person to hold a grenade and it exploded. And it was pretty fucking funny. I didn't realize at the time what had happened, and then I was like, oh, that was pretty fucking cool. Stealth is pretty straightforward. You push B to crouch. If an enemy sees you, he has a little indicator that pops above their head, and then you hide behind a wall, and then you're good to go. And you can highlight enemies by pushing LB with your scanner. You can click on the left stick to mark them.
It feels like, I don't mean to cut you off here, Brittany, but like,
you're good.
It feels like you're describing in detail like a lot of competing gameplay systems. It feels like there's almost too much happening.
I feel like the point is, though, that you pick a style and you roll with it.
There's a lot of systems in this game because the whole point of this is it kind of goes back to that tabletop aspect of where Cyberpunk 2077 comes from, is you can create your character that you want. And I'm going to get into that in the skills here in just a second.
Okay.
But okay, so stealth, pretty straightforward. And then there's physical melee. Then you have your attribute and perk point distribution because you level up. And this is, I think, what I'm most excited about. And this kind of goes into what we were just talking about all these competing systems and how you can really build this customizable character. So like I said earlier, you have the 5 attributes. You have body, reflex, intelligence, technical ability, and cool. And each one of those can be leveled up to 20. So if you want to get real good at one, you can. But what's exciting is that each one of those attributes have skill tree, or they're called perk trees, rather. Perk trees attached to every single one of them. So when you level up, you get attribute points and perk points. So for example, if I wanted to be a face tank, which is something I really wanted to do, I'm probably going to put a lot of my attribute points and perk points into body.
Did you play Skyrim? Elder Scrolls? Have you played Elder Scrolls? So would you... and the reason why I bring Skyrim up is because when I think of RPGs that have like really deep, vast skill trees that have a lot of different like branches, like I immediately think Elder Scrolls. Would you compare like how vast the depth of the skill tree in Elder Scrolls is to what CD Projekt Red is trying to do with Cyberpunk?
So it's been a while since I've played Skyrim, but I do remember being incredibly impressed with all of the things you could do. And I would say that if someone were to ask, like, besides Cyberpunk, what was the last game that had such in-depth customization, it would be Skyrim. So it's definitely been a very long time since I've seen any game like this before that offers, or it's been a long time since I've seen a game that offers this kind of customization. That helps answer your question. And again, intelligence has different hacking you can work on. It's cool, different kind of perks you can fixate on, like your stealth. And if you want to be cool and work on your cold blood, it's just...
Yeah, I want to be cool.
Yeah, and so it's just really awesome. And this is why I think there is... a hacking mechanic, there's a melee, there's a weapon, there's shooting, is because you can really tailor your character to be whatever you really want it to be because you have all these different perks and attributes that you can focus on, which I think is fucking phenomenal. I love that. I think a lot of folks are worried about making a game where you can create a broken character. And I get it. I understand it. But I love the
But it's
the
also kind of fun to make a broken character.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
Like broken in a good way, where you're just like steamrolling everybody.
I want to be like a face tank that can hack really well.
Yeah. I always put all my points into dialogue. Always.
I do that too.
that's interesting because there was not like one particular option to just increase your dialogue that I noticed. Granted, there was like hundreds and hundreds of perks, but some of the specific attributes, I think it was intelligence and reflex and cool probably they were the ones that did mention different dialogue options. It says this will also increase your dialogue tree or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then you do get street cred, and your street cred will go up by completing contracts, open world activities, and by completing bounties put on enemies. And this is important because when you go to Ripper Docs, which is what I'm going to talk about next, you can get better upgrades for your cyberware.
But you'll only get the upgrades if you have a certain number of street cred?
Only some of the cyberware requires that you have a certain level of street cred. If you're not cool enough, Cyber, you can't get that really cool optical.
Wow, that's kind of weird.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that if it were applicable to real life. Like like the plastic surgeon is like, no, sorry.
No, you're not cool
you're
enough.
You're not cool enough to get the thing you want.
Feels like a Black Mirror episode.
It does. Yeah, it does a little bit.
Is your social status high enough? How many stars do you have?
Oh my god, that was such a crazy episode. But anyways,
awful.
Yes. All right.
No, but
tell us about the Rippers.
The one thing that we haven't talked about, and that I probably should have brought up at the very beginning, is like you've been giving an incredible amount of detail, and I want to make sure we're cognizant that people maybe want some info, but maybe don't want all of the details. So
she's not giving any info that's not like spoilery. She's just giving a lot of play-by-play.
That's true, but I don't know what's coming next, which is why I'm just giving you that. That's why I'm just saying that now. That's all.
Okay.
Continue.
So you have the Ripper Docs. So these are, think of them like Steimer was saying, like a plastic surgeon or someone who can modify your character. I would say overall between your frontal cortex, your circulatory system, your immune system, your nervous system, there's 18 to 20 different cyberwares that you can have. Put on your person, and you have active cyberwares, you have triggered cyberwares, and you can just have passive if that's what you want.
Yeah.
So like Steimer was talking about, the Mantis Blade is one of them, and nice. I believe that is a triggered or an active, where you have to do something to activate it. So it's described as installed in the arm slot, a powerful melee upgrade giving V blades which spring from the forearms.
You know,
so you can go around.
Doesn't seem dangerous at all. Love it.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Sure, you would never accidentally cut yourself.
Nope. Then let's see. Let's go for some things. So then the quest that takes place is the one called the Pickup or something like that. Anyway, it's a quest, and the thing you have to know about it is that there are like 3 or 4 different ways that you can finish this. Obviously, I don't want to go into what those ways are, even though I know them, because I think it's fun to figure that out for yourself. But unfortunately, with the time I had in the demo, I didn't have the option to explore all of the optional parts of the quest. So there were some characters that I didn't get to meet, like Meredith Stout, who was part of, I think, the E3 2019 demo. So this quest was the E3 2019 demo. So if you've seen that, yeah, you know all the different ways you can go about it.
I believe they released that publicly around Gamescom timing.
Yeah. It was really cool to play that myself and kind of figure out like which way I want to go about this, and if I wanted to try to talk my way out of it or bribe my way out of certain situations, or if I wanted to try to face tank. Spoilers, I just face tanked because nothing went according to plan, but it works. It worked for me just fine. Okay, so then the other thing that Cyberpunk talked about today and revealed is the brain dancing mechanic. And so like we've already said, if you've played Detroit Become Human, you're kind of familiar with this. It's kind of like an investigative recording that you can fast forward or rewind and look into it. Tacoma and Fulbright's game also had something sort of similar. So this is described as an advanced neural technology that allows for human memories and emotions to be recorded, edited, and played back by users of a simple headset. And so you'll use this mechanic to gain knowledge, information, and clues regarding the important characters or items. So I think we all saw the heist brain dance from the thing today. So I got to do a different one at one point, and this was an optional thing. But
Did you get to do a porn one?
I didn't see any dick or anything like that. I didn't get to get it on.
Saw no genitalia.
No genitalia,
no wizard
unfortunately.
sleeves for Brittany.
I'm so sad about it. But this one was, I was someone who was trying to infiltrate a penthouse suite to find an item. And to do this, I was using the memory of a woman who was there to have a good time with a man who lived there. And so when you start a brain dance, you can watch it all from first-person perspective, or you can switch to editing mode, which lets you kind of float around the room and see what's happening all around. Because the idea of a brain dance is it's recording everything around you, whether you see it yourself or not. It just picks up the audio, the visual, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a nanny cam in your head.
Like a what cam?
A nanny cam.
Yes, Timer. You got it. Nanny cam. It's a nanny cam for cyberpunks.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 3 different levels of brain dance that you can filter through. You have the visual, you have the thermal, and the audio. So if you want to focus on just trying to find things that are making noises, you want to turn on the audio filter. Thermal and visual, pretty self-explanatory as well. So in this case, and the thing about editing mode is you can't get too far away from the person who you're experiencing the memories through, and it'll bring you right back. It's like, no, it doesn't work that good. Sorry, you can't like wall hack through the entire game. So in this case, what I had to do is find out where the location of a thing was, and you just essentially, there was a few optional things you could do to gather additional information. That when you walk in, the guy is having a teleconference on his big TV. You walk in, he's like, I'm going to change this to my phone only so you can't hear or see what's happening. So at that point, you can hack the phone and listen to the other side of the conversation. As he walks away, he will drop a pamphlet of information. You scan that, you learn about where this item might be located, and then voila, you have all the information you need to complete the quest successfully in the real world.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! And I mean, I thought it was a pretty... The tutorial and how it showed it today during the stream felt pretty long, and it was kind of slow. And even when I was doing it myself, I'm like, okay, I feel like
I get it. I don't need you to like.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily
talk
new
down
in
to
video
me
games.
about this. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we've done this mechanic before. It's fine. I got it. I understand how it works.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm still kind of on the fence. I think it's a cool idea, and I'm with you, Simer, that I kind of like the investigative side of it.
Yeah, I always think it's fun.
Yes, but if it continues to feel kind of tedious, then it could be a little off-putting. I think it'll be most fun if they use it in optional scenarios where you know that you don't have to do it, but if you do, you might get additional information that will help you solve a quest successfully.
Or get like an extra thing or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
I think that could be a good implementation of it.
And then the final thing is just, and this is where I get into how I feel about it, is Night City as a whole. So unfortunately, because I didn't have as much time as I wanted to explore Night City, and because that's what I think I'm most excited about at this point, and I think probably
just
what
wandering
most people
around,
are.
poking your head in doors, seeing what's going on. Yeah,
exactly. Kind of like wander around and get a feel of, what does it feel like to actually just chill in this city and get a feel of the culture of the city, because the quest, the demo itself was like move on from like point A to point B to point C, and then boom, demo's over. And maybe I mismanaged my time, but I tried to get through the story and I didn't get to, whatever. But what I did read from Miranda Sanchez of IGN, because she actually didn't do all of the main quests, she just kind of spent her time exploring, I think because Ryan did the quests. So
because IGN got multiple people into their demo because they're IGN, so they had the luxury of having someone to do the quests and someone to explore.
That's fine. We can have Miranda tell us how it went.
We like you, Miranda. You the best.
Mwah. So Miranda said, it's worth noting that you can't enter every building, but I was able to access far more nooks and alleys than I would have normally expected. Granted, there isn't always a ton to do in each of these places. Sometimes that was because my low level prevented me from engaging in higher level encounters, but I could almost always loot something, chat with strangers, or help an NPC being threatened by another. I even found a nice sniper rifle and rare crafting materials on a quiet rooftop after taking an elevator.
That's nice. I love finding a good sniper rifle.
Yeah. So it sounds like, you're going to be able to go. It kind of reminds me of like Kamurocho from Yakuza. It's kind of like the feeling I get when I'm playing this game. Yeah, it's like a
very because of the neon.
Non-Yakuza person. What does that mean?
Just the feel of it. Like there's a lot of lights. There's a lot of like action.
You mean it has like a very distinct atmosphere?
Kabukicho is like the red light district in Japan. If you're unfamiliar, think of like Las Vegas / Kabukicho, and that's actually how one of I think it's the Haywood district is described. It's one of these.
So it's like a wall market in Final Fantasy VII.
There you go. Perfect.
I have a Japan game reference, Brittany. Are you proud of
Japan.
Andrea, you may be a little drunk.
I've had too much whiskey. It's been a hard week, Steimer.
It's okay. I forgive you. It's just funny.
Okay.
I meant to say Japanese and it came out as Japan. I'm sorry, okay? I'm not a perfect host. I fuck up too, everybody. Okay? Brittany, continue.
So I think like what I was saying earlier is, and I think we all agree on this, is people aren't coming to Cyberpunk for the shooting or the walking and the blah blah blah. Or this game is gonna the walking.
I love you.
Like, I'm thinking like, how do I describe this game? Like you walk like a fucking normal video game. You look around like a normal video game. You shoot like a normal video game. Like nothing
Walks
about
like
that
a duck,
stands.
quacks like a duck. It's a duck. It's a video game.
I don't think we
everybody.
need you to describe the locomotion of the video game.
I mean, I can if you want. You seem to like the description.
No,
It's
I
been
told
thrown
you
me
I
for the
want
past
your
30 minutes.
feelings. I want your feelings.
I'm getting there. So I think where this game is really going to stand out, obviously, is like we said, story, characters, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, during my gameplay, while I had a wonderful time and I think all the characters are incredibly animated, I didn't get to experience what I think is most, to me anyway, most attractive about this game, which is just the culture of the city itself, of the world itself. I want to see the districts. I want to see how alive this game feels when you're not rushing from mission to mission. And like I said, 4 hours in a game like this, which is CD Projekt Red is describing as a 50 to 60 hour game, you don't even scratch the surface. Like that's not even enough. And because I was playing on GeForce Now, it didn't look anything like it looked in the trailer, but that's because of technical issues. That's definitely not something.
Yeah,
with the game
trying to compress
wrong.
it and stream it over to you is much different.
Yeah. But it's that hard thing of like, I would say I had a fantastic.
I was about to say, where you're like interested, you wanted to continue learning more, you wanted to keep playing, I assume.
I have no complaints. Maybe the inventory screen was a little clunky, but I mean, if anyone's played a Witcher game, you know, it's kind of
so inventory UI not drastically improved.
So far, it's not good. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot happening on that screen. But I mean, obviously, yeah, like you said, I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to keep experiencing. I felt great while I played it. I had a good time. I have no major complaints. All the systems seem to work very well, very intuitive.
You felt
very
like you got to
responsive.
play the way you wanted, like, because you felt your face tank build worked out just fine in all the missions you played.
Yeah, it did work fine, and I think a lot of that was because I noticed that the main missions that you would do, it wasn't scaling to your level, but you could tell the demo had been set up in a way that you would never be under leveled. So I was able to just use my pistol and use aim assist and pop bitches in the head. And I was able to like run behind a wall. Things were getting a little out of hand, and my health would regen because that was a perk that I had spent points on. And I had no problem face tanking and offing people. And that was just, but you don't have to play that way, right? You can stealth your way out of it.
I won't play face tank because that's not what I do. But I'm glad that you're like, I picked a path and it did actually work, because I think that's definitely a thing when any of these games where customization is such a strong suit of it, is like, can I make a character that actually doesn't work? Because hopefully not.
Yeah, and that's something that CD Projekt Red is working really hard on, is making a system where all these traits really blend together. And unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to experience with all of the hacking, and I think that's something I would love to spend more time with, because I think it's really fun, the things you can do, like make a character hold a grenade and have it ignite.
Yeah, when I saw like the old, I think it was E3 last year or whatever, I don't remember at whatever point they released this, but some of the hacking stuff did look really interesting and fun. So I feel like I kind of know where my build will end up at some point, but we'll see. I may need to tweak it as I go, but
yeah.
So let's talk about like the setting, the environment, like the mood, the characters. So, like when watching some of the other preview coverage and like looking at the gameplay, it feels like a really immersive, involved city. Did you feel like a vibe?
Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, the problem is I didn't get to just really absorb myself in that vibe, right? It's because like I had to go from point A to point B, and most of the driving was being done by Jackie, trying to get the quest moving along. But as we were driving, I was looking out the windows, and there were all these fun neon lights and karaoke store or shops or whatever they're called, karaoke store.
Yeah,
it's
a building.
Karaoke salon.
Salon, there we go. Karaoke
really
salon. There were people out minding their own business. There were children running around and playing. Well, Skype, you're failing me.
Oh, sorry.
But there definitely was a vibe. And again, if you played Yakuza, it's kind of like, that Kamurocho vibe. If you haven't played that, think of like a slightly more dangerous Las Vegas. Yeah, you can tell there's a lot going on, and I wish I had more time to get out and really experience that for myself, because that's, I think, again, like what I'm most looking forward to at this point.
Right, but they want to like keep some of that for discovery, right? Like they want to just like give you a little. This is what CD Projekt Red did. They're like, we're gonna give you a little tiny taste of the drug, and then we know you're gonna coming back for more.
Yeah, it's like your spoon analogy from what's that game?
Death Stranding.
Thank you. Yeah.
The double spoon, the weirdness. I want more weird. Give me more. Give me double spoons of the weirdness. That was, I believe, what I did.
It was very close.
Yeah.
Cyber was not on that episode. The wonderful Sabriel.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I did drive a little bit, and I will say I am not the best driver in games. So for me to say, because I was reading again more previews, and a lot of people are like, oh, the driving's so bad. I'm like, well, it's typical for me. I ran over a bunch of people. I ran into a bunch of buildings. I ran into a bunch of poles. I tried not to, but I did. I did notice after I hit a few pedestrians that I did have the police after me.
Oh, no.
I'm not entirely sure how that mechanic works, because I was just talking to MJ and my mic. I'm like, I wonder how many people I can run over before I get in trouble. And then sure as shit, like this little thing popped up, and it was like, oh, you have the police after you. Get the hell out of here. And I was like, all right, and I did.
And you're like, but I'm gonna have to murder more people to get away from the cops.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I'm not a good
GTA.
driver. It really is. But that's part of why I'm like, can you just please make an auto drive? Like, please.
So Britt, like, I know that I've gotten on you a couple of times here for getting too into the finites, to the specifics of the game.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Sure. The reason I do that is because I think I would love some more high-level impressions from you. And the reason I say that is because, like, I think that you have a very unique perspective on these types of games, knowing that you, in the last 6 months, have gone, like, deep down the Yakuza rabbit hole. And Yakuza as a franchise is really known for more of their open world gameplay, their urban gameplay, their ability to create an immersive urban city experience with lots of different, vibrant, competing factions and mini games and all of that, right? So they've created this really robust experience. And like when I watched the Night City Wire, the thing that came to me right away was like what I was trying to do with GTA Online. Say like Rockstar did such an amazing job of making the world of GTA 5 feel like it was like authentic mingling of those styles between what, you know, different urban franchises that do open world gameplays have done. And I would love to kind of hear from you of someone who has played some of these games, like where you think Cyberpunk is going to fit into that. Do you think that Cyberpunk could potentially like usurp the style of GTA?
Obviously, like from 2 hours of playing a huge game like this, I think just the reality is like you can't really make a definitive super op-ed about how this game feels and how it's going to turn out and what it's going to be, because there just hasn't been enough time. I think my main takeaway from this is I get the foundation. I see what they're trying to do, particularly with character customization, and so far, it seems that it works and it seems that it fits. I think now what we want and what I want is just to be let loose in this world and see how it all comes together. Do the mechanics get old after 20 to 30 hours? Does the novelty wear off? Does it become too repetitive? And those are just the questions that I frankly can't answer right now.
Of course. And I'm not asking you to. I think what I was really looking for was, do you see the potential? And I think like a lot of people, like we even talked about this. I think we had an episode like a month ago that was like, is Cyberpunk going to live up to the hype, or is it worth the hype? You know, and it's like, I think that's something a lot of people are talking about with their audiences of, is there too much hype for this game for CD Projekt Red to overcome? Like, has there been too long? And like, when you drop a trailer with someone like Keanu Reeves, like you're going to like shoot the hype bomb up no matter what you do, right? Like, and so it's like, from what you played, and like, we're not asking you to give a review on the game when it launches. Clearly, like, they're going to do work on the game. But from what you played, do you think that there's potential for them to live up to the hype machine that is currently CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think the foundation has been set. I haven't seen anything right now that would make me think otherwise. The quests that I've experienced have been really well orchestrated. The character conversations have been super immersive and believable. All the voice acting is great. All the character models look great. I mean, they're not like on TLU 2 level, but I don't think really that's what CD Projekt Red is going with this. But I think, yeah, I mean, like everything I've seen so far, I have seen nothing that would lead me to believe that this game isn't worthy of the hype that everyone has generated from the E3 trailers that we've seen so far. Yeah, I think it's there. I think the hype is warranted. And like I said, it's just going to take some time into the game to know if it really works. This is such an ambitious game, and there's so much And I'm sure that there are so many different mechanics that we haven't even learned about yet that are going to come into play, and so many new different plot twists and turns. And how is Keanu going to play a role in this? I think I have it figured out. I think I know where he comes into play now. I'm like kind of putting the lore together here, but I think it's yeah. I mean, to answer your question, I think it's worthy of the hype. I think there's nothing that I've seen that would make me think otherwise. So I think our hype is well placed, friends. I think, you know, with some inventory, maybe polish and some. And here's another thing I talk about. I didn't encounter, the only bug I encountered during my demo was I was supposed to pet a cat, but the cat was invisible. So I pet the air.
How dare you not pet the cat?
I tried to pet the cat, Andrea, but the cat turned into air. I don't know how it happened.
It just evaporated.
It was like, you know, bugs.
That's what happens in Night City.
Brittany, thank you. I don't know why I'm thanking you for playing Cyberpunk. You're welcome.
No. I mean, you're all welcome. I had a great time.
Thank you for your in-depth report. Our correspondent, Brittany Brabaka. I'm excited. Steimer's excited. We're all excited for Cyberpunk. I can't wait. I think it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. I hope it's going to be great. It looks like it's going to be great.
Yes. Oh, boy. That was intense. I think it's time to go have some food. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back on Monday for What's Good Games Live, and then on Tuesday for our special GameSpot charity live stream. So join us. We'd love to see you. Have a great weekend. Play some games, relax, get some sleep, take care of yourselves, and be nice to one another. And as our friends at Kind of Funny say, be better to each other. Goodbye, everybody.